And with that, we are live here. Welcome to Formula Drift, the 2017 series, round 4. That is Formula Drift Japan, I should say. As you can see, this is not the United States. Those mountains there in the background. This lovely scenery. We are in Okuibuki today, here at this car park course, for lack of a better word. Although some of our drivers have been saying it's more like an actual toge or a Japanese mountain road than it is like a car park course. As you can see, we're up in the mountains. Good morning, or should I say good afternoon? That's a big bug flying around right there in front of the camera. My name is Alexi Smith. I'll be your commentator for today. I'm here with Ryan Sage, all the way over from the United States. Good to have you here again.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah, so we have round 4 today, qualifying. We'll be running the entire field through qualifying today to get our top 32 for tomorrow's battles. So if you're just joining us now, we're about to begin the action very shortly. You can see there one of the car parks here. Okuibuki, if you don't know, is actually a ski resort in the winter season, which explains the reason why we're so far up here in the mountains. And what they've done here on this course is made an interesting layout from basically the access road to the ski resort and the two of the upper car parks. So as you can see there in the background there, that is the pit area where the cars are all currently lined up. That is one of the car parks. And we are just basically where you saw that previous camera, that's where we are. So great weekend, looking forward to. A lot of rain yesterday. It was disgustingly wet conditions yesterday. It was a little bit cloudy and damp this morning, but the weather report, when I got it this morning, the hotel turned on NHK to see what the weather had to say. It was basically from midday onwards, no rain, a few scattered clouds, and as you can see, that's basically what the weather looks like. Beautiful blue skies, Ryan.
Yes, it was quite rainy yesterday and really challenging to get practice in conditions that would be suitable for today's conditions. But nonetheless, drivers got the opportunity to try both setups, wet and dry. I was talking to Mad Mike a little bit earlier. He said it was good to get out there and get a few dry runs and also some wet runs just in case something happens to understand, what they need to do with the vehicles. But, yeah, we find ourselves in round 4 here, heading towards the final few rounds or the final 2 rounds of the championship. Unfortunately, I think just about 5 minutes ago, we got notice that it looks like Masashi Yokoi, currently in 6th place in the championship, may not be making it out to qualifying. And if that is indeed the case, then that would put him out for tomorrow's competition, which would be a real shame for everybody. He made it really far into competition last year and had a pretty spectacular wreck coming out of outer zone 3 into that final inside clip through the bridge there on this very unique course. So we'll see what happens with that, but nonetheless, we've got 40-plus drivers vying for 3 spots at the end of the weekend tomorrow as we make our way into qualifying.
Yeah, that's right. Round 4. We only have 2 rounds to go in the 2017 series. This round here at Okuibuki and the final round at Okayama International, the very high speed. So 2 very different tracks for the final 2 rounds of the 2017 series, as you can see here. Now, this shot here from the camera on turn 1 does not show you really how steep it is. You can see the difference in height. Actually, you can see it right there. That part of the course is flat, but you can see the approach, very steep gradient uphill. Now, speaking to some of the drivers, most of them have said that the biggest challenge of this course is getting the entry right, throwing the car into that corner much faster than you normally would if the course was flat. It's also sort of funny that some of the guys who are known previously as being mountain road drifters are much more comfortable with that layout. And the guys who are sort of circuit-only guys are the ones who are having trouble with it. They're not used to drifting on that steep of a track. So a little bit of a difference there. Also on this particular track, cars like the big 2JZ-powered JZX 100s, JZX 90s, the big Tourers, the big Toyotas that we often see dominate the series here in Japan, at a slight disadvantage on this particular course due to the very steep uphill. This sort of course does tend to suit the smaller, more lightweight cars. Unfortunately, Masashi Yokoi being one of those in his S15 Silvia, having a lot of mechanical trouble yesterday and not looking like he's going to make it out into competition today. That's a big shame. But like Ryan said, we still do have a maxed out field here. So that means we should be getting a top 30, a full top 32 tomorrow. I don't think our American driver Bai Run has. I don't think he's over here this weekend. I think he's back over in the States.
It has not made its way over here yet.
No. Yeah. Bai will be probably watching the live stream with everyone else. Is that a joke? Is that a meme, or am I forcing it? I don't know.
It's kind of a meme. Yeah. It's. I would say it's a middle of the road popularity meme.
Okay. There you go.
It's maybe only for the those that are so inclined.
There you go. Well, yeah. So I don't know. I've seen a few picture memes of it on Facebook. So I guess it's about there. Anyway, enough about memes. We're all out drifting today. We're about to start a forest fire up here in the mountains, smoking out this layout here at Okuibuki. So wherever you're watching from all around the world, thanks for joining us here for qualifying. The time here in Japan right now is just after 12:30 in the afternoon. So like I said, we'll be running the qualifying from now until 3 p.m. Japan time. So that's about 2.5 hours of qualifying action here today. We do have a couple of little ad breaks here and there, but hopefully we're going to keep the action going without too many ad breaks. Of course, on this particular layout, you never know. You can have accidents here and there. There's quite a few parts of this course where the drivers do get very close to the wall. And of course, that entry. I've seen some people throw it down really well, but others go into the wall. We saw one driver this morning back his car into the wall. Who was it? Is it Oshiro? I think it was. Backing his car into the rock granite wall there. You see, that's a good shot there. So that's basically what the judges can see. Is a camera from the judging position. You can see coming up the hill. It's really obvious there, the steepness of that entry road. You can see, compare that, the angle of that entry road there to the first corner to the concrete retaining wall. I'm sure somebody out there could freeze frame that, grab themselves a what's it called, a protractor, and work out the gradient probably. But nevertheless, it's very steep. So we'll be starting the qualifying very shortly, starting with the bottom end of the field, our non-point holders, and moving our way up through the point ranks to our currently number 1 point ranking driver, which of course is Andrew Gray. Could this potentially be another year in a row championship for Andrew Gray? I think the biggest threat to him is currently Shinji Minoa, who's sitting in second place right behind him. Shinji, of course, winning the round at Fuji Speedway. His Z34 Fairlady, powered by a GTR engine, the VR38. Very, very quick car, that one. Very suited to this layout here. Very small, small car, big power. Gets a lot of acceleration coming up that hill, a lot of grip on the back of that car. So that's going to be the biggest threat to Andrew today, is the guy currently in second place, Shinji Minoa. So the last time he drove at Fuji Speedway, I think that was the first time he's ever podiumed in Formula Drift Japan. He managed to get it first place. So his first time on the top of the podium there. Of course, currently sitting in third place is champ Koichi Yamashita. Drives the Weld JZX 100. You may remember, anyone who watched last year's competition here at Okuibuki, he did actually back that car into the granite wall, completely destroying the rear end. That car has not had good luck with the rear end. It's been destroyed twice, once here and once at Suzuka. Because the rear end of those cars, the JZX 100s, basically the consistency of a wet tissue box. Very soft in the rear end, so they don't take much punishment when it comes to hitting the wall. right, so we are about to begin. So if you're watching us live now, feel free to tweet out or post out the live stream link. We're going to be here for the next, what time is it now? It's 12:30. So we're here for the next 2.5 hours. So plenty of action coming up. We're going to be running all of these drivers twice. They get 2 qualifying runs, and the best single one run is the one which determines their qualifying position. So the way it works here, these drivers will do 1 run, then we run the entire field, and then they do their second run. So the qualifying runs are not back-to-back. They do have a big gap in between their qualifying runs, which might not be as exciting as watching them do 2 runs back-to-back, but of course, if it gives them a chance, if there's some sort of issues with their vehicles, gives them plenty of time to sort that issue out. Of course, what we want to see, we don't want anyone to have to go out in a car that they're not happy with. Right, so let's begin here. Round 4 of Formula Drift Japan. Okuibuki Motor Park, as it's known in the summer. We're about to begin our first driver, Tomonori Tasaka. S15 Sylvia, very serious looking car, powered by an SR20. I saw his manager slapping him in the head before, sort of like a boxer, to psych him up. Wow, big flick there from Tasaka. A little bit shallow, not filling the outer zone there. Okay, inner clip. If you haven't seen this course before, this is what the course looks like. A lot of outer zones, a lot of places to clip. Very technical course. This sort of course is the type of course that's going to suit drivers who are able to drive very technically and place their car exactly where they want it on the track. As you can see, not very high-speed track, very technical. Not a bad first run there from Tomonori Tasaka.
Yeah, you can see here you get a good look and start off. Those 3, 2, 1 green cones are where the drivers need to initiate the latest. Most of the drivers are being asked to, or rather they're being asked to initiate at the second standing cone to get the proper run up. And then we've got that first inside clip, that second outer zone, into a third outer zone, then back down the hill to that final inside clip, throttle all the way through. The finish cone is about halfway down the hill, so we want to see full acceleration all the way through. And Tasaka, a decent start for him, as we've got a few drivers that will not make it into tomorrow's competition with this 40-car plus field. And like you said, it is a really technical layout. Most drivers are doing a 3-2-3 or a 3-2-2 in terms of gear, so third gear up, drop to second, pretty much throttle all the way through. Some guys are hitting third gear back down, but it is not for the faint of heart by any stretch of the imagination. Just on the outside of those concrete walls is a nice about 40-foot ravine, so you want to definitely want to stay away from that.
Yeah, that little bit there you can just see on this shot between the 2 segments of track. That is actually a river there, and if you fell down into that, you wouldn't be getting up very quickly, I wouldn't say. So. Yeah, the outer edge, as you can see on the left-hand side, that is actually a bridge there going over that river. So interesting layout. So score there 61 for Tomonori Tasaka. Not a great beginning for him. So despite that fairly good-looking run, we have seen, obviously this is the first time that you guys are watching these runs, we have seen some other drivers do some very tough-looking runs on this layout. So looking to see some more extreme driving from our drivers coming up. Our next driver now, Yuta Nozawa. Big JZX 100. Now this isn't Daigo Saito, even it looks like one of his cars. Okay, nice early entry there. Very wide with that outer zone for Nozawa. It's looking good so far. He's got to keep his speed up. This is the part of the course where drivers start to slow down a bit. As you can see, they're very slow there for Nozawa. And quite wide, they're missing that inner clip there. Getting on the accelerator very late going down the hill. The timing of this run there, Nozawa, just not a very smooth run from him.
And it will be important to note that especially for the line judge, he does want to see the rearest part of the vehicle in the zone, not the tires. So if they are hitting cones off in rear zones, they are going a little bit too deep. You can see right there, this is just a tiny bit too deep as he initiates right on those standing cones, those green cones. Now as he transitions back around, he does a much better job here on this zone. You can see the rear of the bumper right into that second outer zone. little bit of a straight line approach. You really want to try to keep the angle there. That is a really challenging part of the course to keep your speed up, like you said. And then down the hill, throttle all the way through. So decent start for him. Couple little mistakes here and there that he can clean up for run number 2, but overall a nice start for run number 1 here in qualifying.
Yeah, not a bad run from Nozawa. We'll see what score he gets from that run. So 73. So good start for Yuta Nozawa. JZX 100 Mark II. Nozawa there returning to the pits. So next driver now, car 88, Takashi Hinome. Of course, these are the Japanese names are being written in Western style, so it's their first name first, then family name last. Because most of you will probably know that they do say names to us backwards here normally. All right, next driver now, Hinome. Nice big flick there, great run there. A little bit shallow of the outer zone. See if he can get his in-clip here. Great run there. That looks pretty good so far for him. And a little bit late to that outer zone there. We really want to see them run along that concrete wall and out to the edge of the track. Now, got to get early in the accelerator here. Yeah, that part of the track there, a bit tricky. Just coming over that bridge down the hill. It is a little bit bumpy there too, so it's kind of hard to get the acceleration down as hard as you'd like. So the guys who haven't got their rear suspension set up well will do well in this part of the track.
If you pay close attention to the sound of the vehicle, you can see after he initiates here, he's going to get off throttle a little bit. That's that first area where you're going to see some deceleration. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. And then the second part here, you're going to be on throttle all the way through, pushing hard to this third outer zone. There's going to be a slight little lift right about here before they get back on the throttle and push all the way down. So just 2 spots where chase drivers for tomorrow's competition can expect a little adjustment in forward momentum, but for the most part, this is pretty much an on-throttle course, the majority of it, except for just right after initiation and then coming back down the hill.
Yes, that technique, the techniques required to drive this track well will become much more apparent as we move up through the field. Remember, we're at the bottom end of the field right now. So score there, 76. Our best run so far of the day out of our 3 drivers, Hinome, S15 Sylvia. So it is quite a narrow, and I wouldn't say it's a very scary track to drive apart from the first corner. I've seen some of the drivers say they're not used to throwing it that hard up against a concrete wall, or actually a granite rock wall, to be honest. Next driver now, Iwamoto, S13, looking a bit unconfident there in his entry. Very mid-line. I should actually point out, I forgot to mention it before, because I know her. It's actually a girl driving that car. Asuka Iwamoto she's actually won quite a few rounds of the what's called the Venus Challenge series in Japan. It's an all-female drift series. Could be a little bit not that confident on this run, right?
You know what, maybe the vehicle's a little underpowered too there. You can see just a tiny bit of a roll in initiation and a little bit of loss of angle coming up the hill here. And like you said, just taking that mid-line, doing what she can to push on through here and try to get a score on the board, which she will, but we've seen a couple of 70s, mid-70s, so a 61, so it'll give you an idea of where this is probably going to come in at.
Yeah, so that first run for Asuka Iwamoto, maybe just sort of a check run for her, 48, so yeah, not a great score for her. It's the first time, her debut here in Formula Drift Japan, but entering a lot of competitions, as I said before, the Venus Challenge series. See what she does in her second run. Our next driver now, Yuji Saito. Running a bit of a different layout on this car this weekend. His rear tyre is really sticking out. He's running much fatter tyres. Okay, filling it out of zone, a little bit wide towards the end, sort of stalling up a bit. He's got to pick his speed up to make it through this top half of the course. Going to get out of zone again. Again, really wide, a wheel off the edge of the track. not really stringing together a great run there. Yuji Saito. Just, the car looking very peaky and difficult to control on this course.
So Saito goes kind of for a feint initiation here. Robbie Nishida talked a little bit about that in terms of the style judge, which he is. And you can see he does a decent job getting it back out into the zone, but pushed a little bit too hard there, went a little bit too deep into that zone. Good flick back around. He's back on throttle here. Goes a little bit too long in that second outer zone. Kind of a straight line approach to that third outer zone. And then down the hill here, takes that midline approach and accelerates through the finish line. So a couple mistakes there, but nothing that he can't make up in run number 2.
Yeah, the thing about this track is we see the guys who can link the course together, just tick the boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if they can do that, they can score there 63, so sort of all right there for Yuji Saito. So the guys who can link the entire course together, do what they need to do. By the time they get to the end of the track, it's really obvious who's been able to put together a good run, because they can usually drive down the hill really fast and aggressively, whereas the guys who have sort of stalled up a bit and haven't got their line quite right don't tend to do it very well. Okay, next driver now, R32 Skyline Team Get Drunk, believe it or not. Go Kamiya, RB26 powered R32. Right, it's looking all right so far. Just a flick here, quite shallow. They need to get it out to the outer zone. Out along the wall, off the accelerator and on. Good timing there, gets that clip. Second half of the course, quite good. So just the top part of the course, that long hairpin outer zone. A fair way off that, almost a meter off.
With the white wheels, you get a good opportunity to see when he's off throttle here. He initiates, kind of slow rolls into it, he's off, then right back on. Fills that first outer zone, transitions to this first inside clip. You can see he's a little bit wide there. Good smooth transition back around, locks up that rear wheel there, and just a tiny bit shallow on that second outer zone. Hits that third outer zone, now coming back down the hill. He's on a midline here. He's trying to find that last inside clip. Does a decent job there, but like you said, he could have probably gone a little bit more aggressive, a little bit better in the zones, but started off on a pretty good note after that initiation.
Yeah, not a bad score there. Go Kamiya, as you can see there. It is actually his team is called Get Drunk, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Score of 70 there for the R32. So, of course, that is the HC R32. It's not a GTR, if you're wondering. HC R32 is the rear-wheel drive 2-litre version, not the 4-wheel drive 2.6. Good start to the day here at Okuibuki. If you're just joining us now, welcome to round 4 of Formula Drift Japan. We are here at Okuibuki Motor Park, a converted street course. When I say street, I do mean street. Next driver now from Nagata Gumi, Tsukasa Nagata in his S15 Sylvia. Long way off the outer zone there. Long way off the inner clip. Nagata really missing all these zones and clipping points here. Of course, this could be a technique. Just using his first run to get a feel of the course in its current condition.
Yeah, nearly losing it near the end there, but let's take a look at this from the chicane. Coming through the chicane, headed up the hill here into third gear. Kind of a straight line approach initiation, back on the throttle here, misses that first outer zone by a wide margin. Then you can see again there he's on that third hash mark on that first inside clip. Now moving back around, a bit shallow of a line here. You'd like to see him reach out a little bit wider, so definitely leaving a lot of line points on the table. Now down the hill here, almost loses it there, but stays in it and pushes through.
Yeah, that down the hill there. A lot of fun if you're driving it solo. So when you're actually trying to get a good score, not that great, not that fun to do. Score there 54 for Nagata, Tsukasa Nagata. So a lot of room for improvement for him. All right, next driver now, Yasuo Takano. I'm actually friends with this guy. New build for him. He came out last year to Okuibuki in his S14 Sylvia. Didn't manage to make it through to competition. He's here with a brand new build, this JZX 100. And he's only just finished his car. It's a brand new build too. Okay, here we go. Entry a long way off that outer zone there. He needs to get the rest of this course right if he wants to get a good score. Good clip there. Outer zone, just making it to the end there. Out along the wall. This is also an outer zone there. On the limiter, it sounds like his gearing is not quite matched this course. You can really hear him on the limiter throughout the entire course. Like you said before, Ryan, gear selection is a big trick on this particular layout.
Well, I like his approach here starting off. It looks like he's coming in very aggressively, but then he kind of does a smooth roll in, tries to throw some angle on the car, but he's way offline here. And then he wraps back around that first inside clip, but coming up the hill, he just had a little bit of a struggle there, and you can see it also has an impact on that second outer zone. He's very much driving straight through that third outer zone, and here just trying to hold this run together. He was on the rev limiter from basically the end of the third outer zone through the finish line, so maybe a little bit of adjustments in the gearing there as he heads back to the pit and wait for his score.
Yeah, I'm sort of wondering, I'll go and find out what sort of gearbox and diff ratio he's running on that car. I get the feeling it might just be a standard box and maybe a automatic ratio. Really, really hitting the limit, that brrr sound of the 1J. Hitting the limiter. So we are about to continue our qualifying here. So score there 49 for Yasuo Takano. So a brand new build for him, this car. It's still it's very shiny and clean. Black paint job, and the stickers are all fresh. So he might have a bit of tuning to do on this car. All right, next driver now, car number 15, Kojiro Mekua. We've seen him before in this series many times. Slightly different car than what we're used to seeing him in. Okay, nice early entry, good. This is a guy just barely taps the cone there. This is a great run so far. Nice run here for Mekua, outer zone. There you go, right in the outer zone. Out to the wall, another outer zone there. See what we can do here on the in clip. Big angle coming down the hill. Great run for Mekua there.
Yeah, one of our first, I would say, better than average runs we've seen all morning, and saw some great runs in practice from Mekua. You can see his approach here. He's going to take that middle line approach and swing out here, throw an aggressive initiation that allows him to fill at least 3/4 of that zone. He comes off right here, very tight on that first inside clip. Nice smooth transition back around, and if you watch the rear wheel, it keeps spinning, which means he's on the right line. He's not having to make corrections or adjustments. Throws some big angle down the hill here and does a great job overall performing in run number 1, and this should be at least in the mid-80s.
Yeah, I'd say you're right there. That was a great run for him. Very street style sort of car too. And they call it an 81 for Kojiro Mekua. Great score, our best score so far by a fair margin. That should give you an idea of what the runs we are going to see later in qualifying should be like. Next driver now, car 132, Taichi Hisano, S15 Sylvia. So we just saw there the S15 of Mekua. Not an extreme build, but doing very well in this track. These are the sorts of cars which have an advantage on this particular layout. Once again, great run there, just barely knocking out, filling that outer zone in a clip here. Great run so far. Hisano, again, outer zone. A little bit of an adjustment there in his angle. It's nothing too major. Early on the accelerator, gets that inner clip there, powers down the hill. Well, two great runs in a row.
Yeah, and you can see he's going to be one to challenge in the chase runs tomorrow, the head-to-head battles. Driving through this course very fast, but what he's not doing, he's not cutting the line. He's doing what he can to reach out to those outer zones. And right here, a nice flick, off throttle for a second, fills that zone completely, comes off, he's on the middle line through that bridge section, then nice and tight, makes, like you said, makes a little bit of adjustment there, but still fills that second outer zone. Now he's setting himself up, looking for his line coming down the hill. Great job here. Keeps a lot of angle in the vehicle through the finish line, and another solid run back-to-back here.
There's a score there of 70 for Taichi Hisano. So yeah, a few mistakes for him on that run, but overall quite good. Yeah, there's quite a few places on this course. Actually, well, they're both in the same place, but going the opposite direction. That first corner, people who have the ability to throw down big angle and hold that angle sort of have an advantage on this track. People who have the skill of using angle of the car to slow the car down and still maintain grip on the back, they're the ones who are going to have the advantage in that first corner. Okay, next driver now, Kenji Yamada, otherwise known as Jamaken, in his very street style S15 Sylvia. Nice angle there, out towards the edge of the wall. This is looking good so far for Jamaken. Great acceleration work from this car, very aggressive, smokes it down the hill. That is some really, really, really aggressive acceleration work there, very exciting to watch.
Yeah, we're starting to see some much better runs here, mid-70s and higher, and again, you can see the aggressive approach. He knows he needs to carry speed up the hill, keeps those back tires spinning, then gets back on the throttle here. Nice and tight on that inside clip, maybe just a little bit too tight, but that nice flick back around to fill that second outer zone. I really like that. Now you can see he's on throttle here. The smoke line is going to start to develop as he comes down the hill, and it's one of the more smoky runs that we've seen on the second half of the course. So you know he's driving aggressively, he's getting the right wheel speed, and he's able to pretty much do what he needs to do on the inside clips and the zone. So a good run there by Yamada.
Yeah, so Kenji Yamada, otherwise known as Jamaken, score 77 for him. I think we're just being announced another scratching. Oh, Kazama-san. Oh, wow, okay. So we have a couple of more scratchings. Well, I suppose we'll get to that when they come up. But one, Toshiharu Kazama. That is the Kazama from Kazama Auto Kazama retiring. That's unfortunate. And also Masaki Kasahara, S15 Sylvia, also retiring. That's a shame. All right, next driver now. We have Akihiko Hirashima, S15 Sylvia, Garage D Friends. Great looking car. This very nice paint scheme and graphics on the door of that car. And not a bad run for him so far, out towards the edge of the wall there. Nice wide line there, a little bit just missing that inner clip there coming up over the bridge. Accelerating hard down the hill. Sorry, I missed the first half of that run. I apologize for that. But Hirashima there.
Yeah, some good aggression here, just not linking the course together very smoothly. He'll definitely have some things that he can work on run number 2. You can see he comes in, rolls into this initiation here, does an okay job of filling that first outer zone, but he goes a little bit wide on that first inside clip. It's a good smooth transition back around to that second outer zone, but he's not able to fill it. Now he shoots for that third, does a much better job there, looks for his line coming down the hill here, good angle with the car, and he's right on that second hash mark, so he's able to do the last half of the run pretty decently there, and his run at number 1 is in the books.
Yeah, no, anyone out there who says competition drift cars these days don't have any style, well, there you go. Look how great that, it's a great looking car too. Score there 66 for Hirashima. Yeah, a lot of room for improvement. A good base sort of run there, but just sort of missing out on the little elements here and there that make up a good run. Here comes our next driver now. We have Junya Ishikawa in an S14 Sylvia. Very aggressive stab of the brakes there to get the weight off the back of the car. Running right on the edge of grip here. Ishikawa just sort of messing up the exit of that hairpin and coming down the hill. Very middle line there. Just doesn't look very confident on this particular layout, does he? Ishikawa in his S14 Sylvia.
Let's take a look at this run here one more time. Coming through the chicane up the hill here. He does have a nice approach, and you can see some of these drivers as we get into the higher rank are initiating very early, much prior to that third standing cone, and giving themselves the right amount of trajectory to go up the hill, fill that zone, and then get right back on the throttle to that first inside clip, the second outer zone. The third outer zone here, where you can see is a little bit shallow there, but he's able to bring it back around. He goes a tiny bit long on that last inside clip. It's a good start for him, but he certainly has some things that he can clean up in run number 2.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, their runs, good base sorts of runs, but just sort of missing that extra factor that makes these scores a 70, like an 80 or a 90. So score there, 63 for Ishikawa. Of course, you can't really blame them for not really wanting to get too close to the walls here. There's a lot of parts of the course where they have to run very close to walls. So a lot of opportunities for them to screw up. Of course, they all do get one more run. All right, next driver now. Tadahiro Fukada, JZX100 Mark II, regular competitor here. Big wide entry there. Not really following through on that faint entry. A little bit shallow. He's got to get in the outer zone. There you go. A lot of noise coming out of that car, but not a lot of forward momentum. And slowing down again. Fukada just, yeah, we could hear a lot of noise, but that did not translate into velocity, did it, on that particular run?
Well, another driver that I really like his approach here, but he's not able to pull it off in the way that you would have liked. Right here, if he comes to full lock and throws it in and holds that angle through that first outer zone, that would have been really impressive.
Yeah.
So he's just got to loosen up a little bit and not be afraid to throw it in the wall, because the rest of the run is pretty decent through that second outer zone. He's on throttle here, fills that third outer zone. Good angle coming down the hill here, and then right on that first hash mark on that final inside clip. So he's got a lot of potential here that he can build on for run number 2.
Yeah, great reverse shot there, that one that shows them coming out over the bridge and down the hill. We're really going to see some, I'll tell you the score there, 64 for Tadahiro Fukada. So not a bad run for him. So there's a few parts, yeah, just the aggression that we'd like to see. Next driver now, Takahito Morozumi. So Morozumi here in the endless. We got to get that switch going. There you go.
How are people doing on your Discord? Doing good?
Yeah, they're all trying to guess what the scores are. They're actually doing a pretty good job of it.
Usually about by this time, I can start seeing the tendency of the...
Oh, big understeer there from Morozumi. Woo! Need a bit more heat in those front tires. Woo! That could have gone bad. That was a fun little moment there for the spectators on that first corner. He could still get a score. Okay, big front end issues here for Morozumi. Maybe his pit crew added an extra 0 to the tire pressure on his gauge. Maybe he's got you know.
Let's see where this.
He's got 40 pounds instead of 14 pounds in there. Or
there, yeah, just not able to engage and initiate there. Big understeer, and like you said, almost went into the rocks, which is definitely not a place you want to go into. It's pretty much worse than a wall.
Yeah, the walls here, so there's 0 for Morozumi, as you can see. Yeah, what he was going for there is basically one of these sorts of walls made of large concrete, or not concrete, worse than that, granite stones, sort of like like what you'd see in a castle, like a castle moat wall. And yeah, they're not going anywhere.
Oh yeah,
and it's not like they're flat too; they're nice and round. So you're not going to get punched once; you're going to get punched several times from several rocks. And a good job there for him, bailing right at the last second. All right, next driver now. Masao Minowa, another female driver here this weekend. Masao, the wife of Shinji Minowa. You know, JZX100 chaser, hashtag wife goals. But, whoa, not a great run for her so far. That turbo whining. And unlimited down the hill. Not a great first run there for Masao Minowa. Well, this is a fairly common pattern we see with her. She acts very timidly and then pulls it out the last second when she needs to, though.
Well, very much flirting with the incomplete here. You can see the initiation is very conservative. Big e-brake pull off the brake for quite a while there now. As she comes through first inside clip, she's got a bit of too much angle and not enough power to transition it back around. She kind of throws it back in a little bit, but I can see the judges kind of talking to themselves, do they want to score this run or not. Either way, if they do score it, it's certainly going to be below our lowest score, which we have right now of 48, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And she's going to want to improve that either way. So whether it's an incomplete or below that number, we know that she wants another hack at it.
Yeah, so Masayo Minowa will get another run at that. Hopefully, I don't know. I would have given that a score. Like, she did lose the drift, but she didn't go the opposite way. You know, she sort of stopped and then restarted. So I don't know about. Although I don't know exactly what the rules are as far as that's concerned, but we'll soon find out. That's what we've got you here for, so I can ask you those questions.
Yeah, basically there are some hard and fast absolute incompletes. Like, if you do this, then you're definitely going to get incomplete. But the judges also have, at their own discretion, the ability to give an incomplete to a run that they think just fell apart in a lot of different ways that may not be covered by those absolutes. So obviously,
right.
Spinning out or opposite drift, those are things that are just automatic. But sometimes, and there you go.
There you go. So
we see this sometimes where they just utilize their discretion and say, that for me as a judge is an incomplete. So
yeah.
Looks like they were in agreement there.
Yeah, well, in this sort of layout, it's understandable. Our next driver now, Chris DeJager from Australia in his JZX 100. Chris, long, tough journey to get here to Formula Drift Japan, but he's here now, so he can do his first run. Now, Chris, watch this. Chris is a tick-the-box kind of drifter. Watch this. Zone, out of zone 1, in a clip, out of zone, look at that, all the way around. Now watch this, out of zone, there you go. Flicks it in, watch him get this in a clip here, watch this, there you go. Tick, 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 tick for Chris DeJager. Now, not the most exciting run, I will say, but technically, that was amazing.
Yeah, I only see a few areas where he, at least on the line side, he might get a few slight deductions. He did hit one or two cones here and there, but for the most part, like you said, this is definitely checking the boxes. It's very conservative initiation, but he gets right into that first outer zone very deeply. Great job on that inside clip. Fills this outer zone early, stays in it, and just nicks that last cone on that outer zone, but very deep on that third outer zone. Great job there. He's right up against the wall, and then very tight on that final inside clip. So just purely from a line perspective, not taking into account angle or style, he did a pretty good job there, and I would have to imagine that that's going to be, mid-range or higher for sure.
And there you go, and a score there, 80 for Chris DeJager, so setting himself up very well from that first run. Of course, like you said, Ryan, not the greatest line, but as far as his clipping points go, couldn't really be faulted. Somebody just mentioned in my Discord chat that this is like a Bizarro Road Atlanta.
Why do you say that?
Because if you think about it, it's fairly similar to a Road Atlanta. It's like it goes uphill on the entry instead of downhill.
Oh, okay.
And it's backwards.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha. Okay, I'm into that. Good. Whoever said that, good job.
Next driver, Wataru Masuyama. This is
Semi Tanaka.
That's Semi Tanaka, right? Semi Tanaka, sorry. Yeah, Semi Tanaka, S15 Sylvia. Completely missed his run. We're talking about Bizarro Road Atlanta. Now, Semi Tanaka, one of the S15s in the similar sort of vein of Yokoi, who we're not seeing this weekend. Similar sort of style from Semi Tanaka.
Yeah, we always see very aggressive flicks from Semi, and you definitely get a really good understanding of what he's doing with the vehicle, especially when it comes to braking and throttle, because he's got those white wheels. He's not trying to hide anything from you. He's willing to go out there and run the track on his own accord. Now, it wasn't the greatest run. He missed a couple of zones, but you can certainly tell that he's got the ability to run this course at a very, very high level, like a Yokoi, especially with that vehicle setup. So we'll see where the score comes in for him, but he will have one more shot at it to try and get up into those mid to high 80s, which is very, very attainable for him.
Yeah, I think Semi Tanaka just getting outside the 80s there. 78 for Semi Tanaka. So good start for the day for Semi Tanaka. We've only seen 2 drivers in the 80s so far. Of course, that was Mekua in that two-tone street style S15 Sylvia. And Semi Tanaka, and Krista Jager, who had the 80. Next driver now. So this is Masuyama. 2JZ S15 Sylvia once again. Very common build here in Japan. Nice entry. Very clean. Losing a little bit of speed there, but it's looking okay so far. Out of zone. In the outer zone there. Out of zone along the wall. Great speed here. Watch him throw it down the hill here. Lot of angles. Straightens up a little bit to avoid going too wide.
It's really fun for me to watch these runs with wheels that are bright colored or white colored, because you really get a good opportunity to see the throttle control of the drivers. Now, he takes also a very aggressive approach here. Starts off on that outside, moves inside, initiates, gets right to lock. He holds that angle very well. That right to angle was strong. Good flick back around after that inside clip. He could have filled that zone a little bit earlier, but overall, good job there. Very close to the wall. Great angle coming down the hill here. Makes a slight adjustment there to hit that inside clip. But I have to imagine that this is going to go 80 or higher.
Yeah, good run for him. Very fast, very sort of on the edge of grip as well. Also, you've got to love that Nismo rear wing on the back of that thing.
It almost kind of reminds... Yeah, there you go.
Great score, 85 for Masuyama.
Yeah, the back kind of reminds me of like some of the styling from like a Acura Integra, old school Acura Integra. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Well, I think I love those towel rack wings. So yeah, hashtag bring back towel racks. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll be back in about 2 or 3 minutes with the rest of the round 1 qualifying. See you soon. Welcome back to the 2017 Formula Drift Japan Series. Round 4 hit Okuibuki Motor Park. We are about halfway through the first run of qualifying here at Formula Drift Japan. If you're just joining us now, welcome, no matter where you're watching from all around the world. Here in Japan right now, it's about 1:15 in the afternoon. Nice, bright, sunny day, thankfully. It was disgustingly miserable, wet weather yesterday, but it's dried up, nice and sunny for today's competition. I know it's fairly late at night in the United States right now, probably East Coast, it's about midnight, I'd say.
I think you're right.
East Coast a little bit earlier. Europe, not the greatest time. It's probably at 4 or 5 in the morning for you guys. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for today's fun. All right, next driver now. Tetsuya Iha in the big Crown. Big Toyota Crown, 2JZ powered. Not a great run for him so far. Missing those outer zones there. Well, throwing it really hard, way too hard, going over the bridge down the hill. A bit of a messy run there for Iha. Also, you may notice on the rear of the car a bit of damage. He actually backed it into the granite wall this morning in practice.
Well, you can see some of the difference between the fluidity of the drivers that really kind of have this course on lock and those that don't. Iha here misses that first outer zone. It's going to become real apparent here. He's kind of chopping up the course a little bit. This section of the course, you can see he's much shallower coming through that third and final outer zone. And then it forces him to take a midline, which he pushes a little bit too hard, goes off course there. So not a good start from Iha, but of course, it's only run number 1. He's got another one to go.
Yes, we haven't really seen anyone nail that bridge and the downhill yet. So, of course, like I said, we're only halfway through the field on their first run, so we still have plenty of runs to go. Hopefully we'll be able to see someone nail that exit from the outer zone just in front of the judging stand. Just to the left of screen there, that part of the track. If people can nail that, it looks really cool. So we'll see what they can do. It's a good shot of the layout here. You can see there in the background, top left of screen, the ramp. We do have the extreme motorcycle show going on when the drifting is not happening. So plenty of action. That's us. Hello. That's us waving there in the middle of the screen. Hello. So we're up here in our ivory tower tent. Good view of the entire course. Scored there 51 for Tetsuya Iha. So yeah, a lot of room for improvement for him. Of course, all these drivers do get 2 runs. The qualifying layout here at Formula Drift Japan is you do 1 qualifying run, and then the rest of the field does their run, and then you do your second run. So you have plenty of time in between the runs to maybe do some adjustments to your cars, adjustments to your head. All right, next driver now, international driver James Tang, the 2JZ powered BMW 120. On paper, should be a very good car to drive on this particular track. His line a little bit off there. Yes, he's throwing it a bit too hard. Coming over the bridge, losing a lot of speed on the exit of the course. So yeah, Ryan, on paper, I would say this particular car is probably the one which suits this track the most, would you say?
Very, very nimble, should be able to get around very quickly, navigate through those tighter sections, especially coming back downhill. But you can see James still getting his bearings a little bit. A very conservative roll into initiation, able to fill that first section of the outer zone, but as he leaves the second section, he comes off a bit early there. Also did not hit that first inside clip as close as he should. He was also shallow on that second and third outer zone. And then right here, a lot of angle, has to get on the throttle not to spin out there or come to a stop. But you can see on run number 1, struggling just a little bit to find the right ingredients for a quality run.
So score there 64 for James Tang. Of course, his teammate Hubert Lee not doing round 4 and 5 this year. Hubert having a lot of trouble with his runs in previous rounds and deciding to take the rest of 2017 off and sort of gather himself together to get ready for the 2018 series, hopefully. All right, next driver now, Kanta Yanagida, just out of high school. His S13 Silvia, eye-searingly green paint job on this car. Had a great run so far. Nice outer zone there. Down in front of the judging stand. Now watch him come down the hill here. Just feathering the accelerator, getting the line just right. That was a good run for Kanta Yanagida in the S13 Silvia. Also SR20. And not even one of these fancy, variable valve timing SRs, just a standard old red top.
Yeah, very aggressive out of the gate. Slight little hiccup there on initiation. Comes off that first outer zone a little bit too early there. Makes it up there on that first inside clip. Good smooth transition back around, back on throttle here. Fills that second outer zone very nicely. Close to the wall there on that third outer zone. Now down the hill and throttling through. Keeps that angle in and pushes all the way down the hill. So nice job there.
Yeah, good run for Yanagida. Should be a fairly middle of the road score, I'd say. Not too bad, actually, fairly high, 78. So this is the sort of thing we expect to see as we get towards the top half of the field. Actually, we already are in the top half of the point standings. So we're running this qualifying in a reverse points layout. So our number 1 qualifier goes last. Sorry, our number 1 points holder in the championship series goes last. And that is Andrew Gray currently. All right, next driver now, Kazuto Ichiyanagi. S13 1Via, great looking car. Very wide, nice high speed. Look how fast he is in that entry. Flicks it back, get it into the outer zone, missing the outer zone entirely. First half of the run looking really good, but just sort of falling apart after that outer zone on the hairpin. Don't you think Ryan had a good start, though?
Yeah, I really liked his start, especially his initiation. He pushed a little bit too hard, but I'd rather see that than be too conservative. He's going to come right up along the wall here, shoot over to the other side, throw it right in, hold that angle, and then you can see he's going to just go a little bit too long there. But again, I love the aggressiveness. Very tight on that first inside clip. Like a lot of drivers, not able to fill that second outer zone. He really did not get in there at all, and you can see it makes him be a little bit tight on that third outer zone, and then down the hill here, just trying to hold it together on the second half of the run, but starting off with a good aggressive approach, and I'm sure he can do much better in run number 2.
Yeah, very obvious on that run there. So the problem, his mistakes cascading up. Yeah, so first half of the run, not bad. Second half, that's where he lost a few of those points. So yeah, the speed of Ichiyanagi, very obvious compared to our previous drivers. Score there 76 for him. Next driver now in the ER34 Skyline. That's the 2-door R34. Not the GTR, it's actually the GTT. And here he comes. Whoa. Huge angle for Miyoshi. See if he can keep this up for the rest of the track. Is he going to fall a bit shallow there? Nice, into that outer zone. Good run. Big speed here coming down the hill. Maybe throwing it a little bit too hard, but wow, getting that power down. Miyoshi really accelerating hard when he needed to. Let's watch the replay.
Yeah, I mean, all other things being equal, I'd much rather see an overly aggressive driver than somebody that drives too conservatively. Woo. You can see big, snappy initiation. He just doesn't get the butt of the vehicle into that outer zone, though, but big angle there. A little bit too tight on that first inside clip. Fills the second half of that second outer zone. Down the hill here, he kind of has to pull some angle out of the car, and then he goes overshooting that final inside clip. So a lot of aggression on track. Some high points and a few low points there, but overall he will have a score, and we'll see where that slots him in.
He will have a score indeed.
73. Oh,
yes. What? Did you? Come on, you're looking over at Andy's score sheet, aren't you? No?
He only has one score.
Oh, that's true.
I'm guessing scores.
Amazing. Who's going to win today?
That I don't know, but what I like to do back home is once I kind of see the tendency that they're on, I haven't really established their tendency yet. I'm getting there.
Yeah,
Then I can start. My goal is to get within 2 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, play along at home. This is how you're going to learn how drifting works. Next driver, Shinichiro Saito. Yeah, compare that entry there. Very, very timid run there for Shinichiro Saito. Watch the flick back here. Once again, this is not great for him so far. And down the hill.
Yeah, I'll say it right out of the gate.
Right.
I'm thinking between 62 and 64.
Okay. We'll see what score Shinichiro Saito gets, but yeah, it's safe to say that this run is not going to be in the 70s. It's going to be in the 60s.
So take a look at the approach here. You can see very conservative, not very aggressive. It's a slow roll into initiation. What the judges really like to see is that hard flick, hold the angle, and to do that you really got to get the speed right. You have your speed management is incredibly important there. So you can see just a few mistakes, not really filling that second and third outer zone. Down the hill here, a little bit better job, but did not start off all that well.
Yeah, it just kind of looked like the only place he really hit the accelerator hard was when he felt safe.
Okay.
There you go, 60. Okay. So just a flat 60 there for Shinichiro Saito in the 180SX. Right, next driver now, car 14, S14, Takatoshi Imamaeda. About to do his first qualifying run. So if you're just joining us, we're only on our first qualifying runs and we're not even at the point end of the field yet, so plenty of action to go here today. It's sort of a bit wobbly on the entry there. Coming around into the outer zone there. Just getting into the latter part of that outer zone. Nice flick here. Whoa, really throwing it hard. He's got to get an accelerator, drive it down the hill. That was a bit of a mistake there. Imamaeda misjudging how hard he had to throw it to go down the hill. Because remember, if you're throwing a car into angle going down a hill, it's going to rotate harder than you think.
It's especially because it's off camber there.
There's that too, yeah.
And you can see as he initiates here, he's not one of those guys that's going full lock and holding it. though he does have an aggressive initiation. I like those switchbacks. I like those transitions from lock to lock, from inside clip 1 to outer zone 2. But again here, like you said, Alexi, too much angle coming down the hill, and you can see he has to pull some out of it. He was not able to keep that arc going and hit that inside clip. So overall, good aggression. Some mistakes, though, some pretty good-sized mistakes will certainly have an impact, and I'm thinking it's going to be a 63.
We're going to do this, are we? 63 predicted score there. Yeah, Yamamoto. A few good parts. Very aggressive driver as a rule.
Oh, way off.
There you go, 71. So obviously that's aggressive. Let's see where. So angle. There you go. Angle is what got him that score. Yeah. So that should go to show. Of course, next to us is the spotters tent. So the spotters really should be on their microphones to the driver, saying you might want to throw it in really hard. That'll help you get a good score. 71 there. Right, next driver now. One of our Doritos gang here today. Junji Yamamoto, 13B RX-7 FD. Nice out of zone there. Just missing the ending clip there a bit. Yeah, did you see that? Then he shifted down. The car sort of straightened up a bit. A little bit understeery there for Yamamoto. Just sort of falling apart. Yeah, not a clean run there. That entry, though, very nice on that entry for Junji Yamamoto, but yeah, just sort of accelerator and shift work, making a few mistakes.
Yeah, the initiation was pretty solid. It's kind of a mix between an aggressive and conservative approach. You can see not too hard to where he's going to overcommit and make a mistake, but not too conservative where you're not impressed. But then after that, he starts kind of cutting up the course a little bit. The fluidity is really lacking here. He misses some of the zones in a pretty complete way, and then coming down the hill here, you can see he's just a little bit too wide on that final inside clip. So after the initiation, some good mistakes to deal with, but obviously something to build on for run number 2.
And of course, this layout here only used for Formula Drift Japan. They do, so score there 61 for Junji Yamamoto in the RX-7. Of course, rotary powered RX-7. Yeah, this layout only used for Formula Drift Japan. They do use the car parks here for drift days. Sorry about that. They do use this layout here for sort of autocross and things like that. But all of these drivers, this is their only chance to drive this track, so everyone's on a level playing field. It's all about skill. Next driver, Daichi Oshiro, JZX 100, throwing it really hard, slowing down a lot, but very aggressive run for him. This is cool. Out of zone, Oshiro, all the way to the edge of the track. Not a bad run there for Oshiro.
No, you can certainly tell that he's going to be one to watch for in the head-to-head competitions. This initiation is pretty good. He does slow up quite a bit, though, and the judges have talked quite a bit about that in terms of what the chase driver needs to look out for. But he's got big angle here, and he kind of floats into the zone, then gets back on throttle there. There will be always those times where you have a deceleration zone and you have contact, and so the chase driver really needs to know what's acceptable, what's not acceptable in those areas. But overall, this is a solid run from Oshiro, and he's certainly going to be one to watch for tomorrow, no doubt about it.
Yeah, Oshiro really throwing it in hard, slowing down a lot, but you could see the smoke pouring out of the back of the car being forced out by the exhaust gas. It was a pretty funny looking shot there. We'll see what score Oshiro gets for that run. Score there 78. So good score for Oshiro. There's a line there, a little bit lacking. Cool looking run, but yeah, not quite on the judging line. Next driver now, Yusuke Kusaba, otherwise known as Boki. That's it today, 1V, another 1V here. Nice early entry, going for a simple handbrake entry there, trying to keep his speed up, I'm guessing. Flick back way off that outer zone, not managing to get his rear wheels into it. Whining of that straight cut gearbox.
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing from a lot of drivers going into outer zone number 2 is they're really feeling the second half of it, if not the last part of it. That second outer zone starts not too much longer after that first inside clip. Here's the first outer zone. He goes a little bit too deep there. Here's the first inside clip. Now, the second outer zone starts right there.
Yeah.
And you should be in the zone all the way around. Fluid line out to outer zone 3. We can see the 2 standing cones on the wall. And then find that nice, perfect line down the hill there. So a lot of drivers missing that second outer zone. Just not maximizing the line. And it is definitely bearing itself out in the line score overall. But for Kusaba, decent start for run number 1.
Yes, that timing, just setting the car up around that inner clip and then flicking the car back to get into that outer zone is quite a trick. The score there, 75 for Kusaba. Not too bad. Our next driver now, Yoshinori Shinozaki. In his JZX 100. Nice early entry for him there. Good, filling that outer zone. In a clip, a bit off it there. Watch him flick it back. Okay, this is all right so far. And a little bit off the outer zone. Not too bad. There's something a bit lacking about this run. Nothing glaringly obvious, but just a little bit damp on all points. Let's watch the replay.
Yeah, we haven't really seen one driver really put together all aspects of the run that the judges are looking for. Just a few mistakes here and there that, knock off 20 or some odd points. This is a good start here. He goes a little bit too long on that first outer zone. Just mistimes it a little bit, and you can see it affects that first inside clip. And again, another driver just filling the last half of that second outer zone. I like the line that he drew there to the third outer zone, and coming back down the hill here, he does a much better job on that inside clip. But like you said, no, not one driver yet has basically ticked every single box, to get in that low 90s, which you will usually see, a handful, 2-3 drivers really do that. And we may see that as we get down lower towards the top competitors. But Shinozaki dropping a 73.
Yeah, 73 there for Shinozaki, so good. A lot of room for improvement. Angle and style. Yeah, so there you go. That's what he needs to work on. All right, we are into our top 10 drivers now in the points ranking. So this is the pointy end of the field. This is when you're hopefully going to see, like Ryan just said, drivers who can string it all together. Good line, good speed, good angle, and good style. So here we go. Next driver now, Jin Harino, S15 Sylvia. Nice early entry for him there. Extending out the entry. A little bit too wide there, but this could be a strategy for him. There you go, into the outer zone. That's what we wanted to see. Sort of coming off it a bit and then putting it back in there. Lacking a bit of angle coming down the hill here. Misses that inner clip. First half of that run, not too bad for Jin Harino.
Yeah, this is a much better example of getting closer to what the judges are looking for specifically. Snappy initiation, fills that outer zone pretty well there. And he takes a wide approach here to wrap back around, kind of almost late apexes that first inside clip. Does get into the first section of that outer zone pretty well, comes off in the middle, and then finishes the latter section of the second outer zone. The third one was not too bad, but could have been better. And then there you go down the hill to that last inside clip. So I would say overall one of the better runs that we've seen in the past 4 or 5 runs. And will it break into the 80s is the question mark to get him into the top 5.
And the score there, 75 for Jin Harino. So yeah, lacking a bit of style. Line a little bit higher than usual. Next driver now, car 125, Yoshihika Tamagawa, doing really well in the last round at Fuji Speedway. This big 2JZ powered 80 Supra. Here comes his entry, slides it in. It's looking all right so far, gets that inner clip, flicks it back. Whoa, throws it too hard and spins. Now what Tamagawa was doing on that run see if you can listen to it if they play the replay full speed. Actually, they don't play the audio on the replay, do they? He was really, really on and off the accelerator. His acceleration work was very inconsistent, which may have resulted in him spinning out there.
Yeah, it's not a bad start here. He gets the first half of that first outer zone. Nice job on that inside clip. And then here, it's kind of a weird spin out. It's not like it was a hard flick back that he couldn't hold. He just kind of wasn't able to pull it all the way around, and unfortunately resulted in an incomplete run.
So there's 0 for Tamagawa in his first run. Yeah, you could really hear him sort of on and off like blah, 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 on the accelerator, which is not something that you see a lot of other people do. Obviously, that Supra, very high power engine. Maybe the lower end of it not tuned to suit this kind of track. Maybe not as responsive as he'd like it to be. I don't know. But, resulting in a 0 there for Tamagawa. All right, next driver now, Kazuya Iizuka, the Helios S15 Silvia. Nice early entry there, all the way to the edge. Nice aggressive run here, gets that clip, flicks it back. Yeah, not a bad out of zone there, out of zone number 2. Watch as he comes down the hill here, see if he can get that inner clip. Just gets to the third stripe of that inner clip there. Overall, not a bad run there for Iizuka.
No, not at all. A pretty solid run. Fluidity-wise, I could have seen him making a few adjustments that would have made the run better overall, but it's a pretty nice aggressive flick. Just a little bit too deep into that first outer zone, but very, very small thing to criticize there. You can see not a fluid transition into that second outer zone, and I think that's where he's going to get a few deductions. There was a little bit of a hold up there from the last part of that second outer zone to the third outer zone, and then down the hill here, a nice strong finish there. So a couple little things that he can work on for run number 2, but overall I think that's a pretty decent run.
The parts of the track there, that entry and the exit where we've seen a lot of other people fail, he did fairly well. So score there 75 for Iizuka in the S15 Silvia. Good base to set himself up for his second run, which we'll be seeing very shortly. Not very shortly, in the after everybody else runs. All right, next driver now. All the way from NZ, bro. Mad Mike Wedette. Team Magic car this weekend. Of course, 4 rotors, 2 turbos. Making some noise here at Okuibuki. Mad Mike, here's his entry. Fills the outer zone fairly well. In a clip, watch the flick back here. All the way to the edge of the wall. This is what everybody else has not been doing so far here today. Mad Mike with that outer zone there, almost perfect. Down the hill. Great run there for Mad Mike, especially that outer zone. We have not seen anyone today do it that well, have we?
And even with that, still some room for improvement. If you go back to the initiation, I've seen Mike do much more aggressive, much more precise initiations than that one. But like you said, on that second outer zone, he fills it completely. A great job there, just starting off at the on the beginning of the outer zone. The line judge here shaking his head saying, yeah, nice job, nice job. And I'm not sure if we're going to get the replay up here, but whether or not we do, that was the second half of the run was incredible. He didn't have any mistakes on that I could really see. Just that initiation into that first outer zone. But still a solid score for Mike.
Unfortunately, no replay. I just got word. I'm sorry about that. Score there, 81 for Mike, which is our equal highest score of the day.
Second highest.
Second?
We got an 85.
Oh, we got 85.
Here.
You're right. So Masuyama, yeah, 85. So our equal second score, 81. So, of course, our next driver would have been Masashi Akoi, unfortunately retired from competition. Rip. So, moving on to our next driver now. Kazuya Taguchi, up garage, S15 Silvia. Out of zone, taking out all the pylons, all the way to the edge of the track. Is this going to be our number 1 run of the day so far? You know what? I really get the feeling that Taguchi has a very, very good spotter, because literally all the mistakes that everyone else has been making so far, he didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to nitpick about here. You can see that back bumper's the part that's actually hitting those cones, not the wing, so he's a little bit too deep there, but he's one of those drivers that starts at the beginning of the zone, of that second outer zone, and fills it pretty well. He could have done a little bit better in that third and final outer zone, but I like the angle that he's carrying downhill here and to wrap into that final inside clip. So one of the more aggressive runs that we've seen, and still some room to improve on run number 2, but I think he'll have a pretty decent score.
So our top score so far, 85. Will Taguchi be able to top that?
I'm going to write my prediction down.
Okay. All right, I see it. Oh, my God. All right, I witness Ryan Sage wrote down 84 for his prediction, and there you go, 84. Nice. So score, they're just missing out on the top spot. Kazuya Taguchi. All right, next driver now. Sheng Nian from one of the Team Kazama and Power Vehicles drivers here, team drivers here this weekend. JZX 100. Whoa, there's a big bug just flying in front of my face. All right. JZX 100. Crazy entry there from Sheng Nian. This is looking pretty good so far, keeping his speed up. Good outer zone there, just tagging the pylon there with the rear of his car. Sort of missing that inner clip there a little bit. No joke. Did you see that bug?
I did. It flew right near me as well, yeah.
It just flew right in front of me. It was like a bumblebee or something. I don't know what it was.
I think it was a bee.
So unfortunately, I missed the first half of this run. Let's watch the replays. This is my first time watching this.
Well, Sheng is one of those drivers that if you've been watching the series for the past 2-3 years, 2 years in particular, you've just seen an incredible progression from this young driver. Very strong performances, coming off some really, really great opportunities that he's had put in front of him and capitalize on them. And you can see here it's bearing itself out in his qualifying run. He's really been able to get a grasp of that vehicle, working with Andrew Gray and the folks over at Power Vehicle, spending a lot of time at Ebisu, and you can see his hard work and commitment is paying off there as he finishes up a pretty decent run, number 1.
So first run there for Sheng Nian. Score there, 78. So not quite into the 80s. Low style points for him. I give that big bumblebee there an 80 for distracting me.
Yeah, that was a good
job. Yeah, he's back. Here he is. Look, he's back. Is that him?
No, that's a different one.
It's a different one.
Yeah, ours was a black one.
That's right.
Big, fat one.
Big bugs. All right, we are into our top 3 here for the first qualifying runs. Koichi Yamashita, JZX 100 by Weld. Big crash last year on this particular track. But doing well so far, really throwing it hard into the outer zone. He's got to build his speed up and maintain his speed through this part of the course, down the hill. Slightly missing that inner clip there. Well, they really get up a lot of speed going down that hill.
Yeah, you got to be wondering what Yamashita's thinking about that initiation from last year that ended up in that granite wall here. See if that's playing any factor on, his ability to really push it. But you can see not a bad job here. It's a very slow roll. He kind of gets into the latter part of the zone there. Good angle through inside clip number 1. Just taps it there. Snappy transition back, but does miss the first half of that second outer zone. Now as he gets on throttle here, shoots to that third outer zone. He draws a really good line down the hill here. Hits that second hash mark and full throttle through the final section of the course. So good start for Yamashita, and we'll see where that lines him up after run number 1.
Yeah, that entry there on this particular track, there's not really anywhere else that you can practice that kind of entry. So score there, 75 for Koichi Yamashita. Pen goes click, click, click. Probably hear that. They really need to give us pens that don't click.
Yeah.
You end up doing this all the time.
Yeah, it makes you feel happy when you do it.
That's it. It's like maybe they need to give
tick. We need spinners.
We need fidget spinners.
Yeah.
There you go. No? Well, it'll stop us clicking the pens. Next driver, Shinji Minowa. Now, he is on fire this year. I don't want to jinx him. I may have just done that. Not quite into the outer zone. This R35, wow, okay. Oh, I just gave him the Murray Walker. I shouldn't have done that. Ugh. Yeah, that's not a great start there for Shinji Minoa, currently sitting in second in the points, coming off a victory, podium first place in Fuji Speedway. Let's watch this again. Replay here. Not a very happy looking car. It's
yeah, you can
weird.
see just very unsettled there on his initiation, and just gets into the last few feet of that first outer zone. And then through here, you can see he's got some big angle in the car. He's pretty much full lock, and then just not enough speed to carry it on through. And gives it up, and he's going to settle for one more run in run number 2 to try to get into tomorrow's top 32 competition.
So 0 big duck egg there for Shinji Minoa. Of course, we do have more than 32 entries here this weekend, so even with 1, 2, 3 retirements that we've seen so far, we're still going to have a full field. So potentially, there's the potential for any of these drivers to not make it into the top 32, even if they are in the top end of the field, like Shinji Minoa, who's currently second, a 0. So he needs to get a score on his second run. All right, here comes our current first place holder in the points ranking. Andrew Gray slides it into the outer zone of his entry. Tags that clip there, outer zone. This is looking good. Nice. It's a good run for Andrew Gray so far. Second outer zone. Gets that inner clip there. Down the hill all the way to the edge of the track, baking it down to the finish line.
Well, you can see that Andrew maybe doesn't have the flash on this course that some of the smaller, more nimble drivers or vehicles have, but he certainly has a precision. You can see here, look at that, just threading the needle through that first outer zone, through this first inside clip, just a little bit of a push, nice snappy transition back around, and fills that zone completely from beginning to end. Look at the line that he's drawing. It's a very fluid line. He stays on throttle here. You can see the smoke line increases, and he comes down the hill and hits that final inside clip. So I have to guess this is going to go into the 80s. It's just a matter of how high. I'm going to do my prediction right now.
Yeah, I'd definitely give it good style points, actually, which they haven't. But line and angle, 32-32. Wow, 89. Not quite getting into the 90s there for Andrew Gray. But that is our highest score of the day. Can anyone stop the Andrew Gray train? We'll see. We're going to be back very shortly with the second half of qualifying. We've run the entire field through once, and we're going to run them through again. So we'll be starting off with the bottom end of the field, going through to the top. And we have quite a few zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4 people currently holding 0 points from their first run, which means they need to put down a good score in the second run. So plenty of tension there. Some interesting scores from some certain drivers. So we'll be back after a short commercial break to see the second half of qualifying here at Formula Drift Japan, round 4 Okuibuki. See you soon. Hello, that's me waving there. We are up here. We're here. Where is that? Okuibuki Motor Park. As you can see there in the bottom, it says ski and snowboard. It is actually a ski field where we are here today, but of course it is not winter, so there's no snow. The only white thing in the air is tyre smoke here at the 2017 Formula Drift Japan Series Round 4. We're here today doing qualifying for Round 4. As you can see there, qualifying 2. This is run number 2 for our field. We have a packed field here this weekend, normally 32 drivers for the 32 field. We have how many drivers here today, Ryan Sage?
I think 42.
42. So a full field, like I said before, by run, not making the flight over from the United States this weekend. Hopefully. I don't think we're going to have that many retirements. We currently have only 3 cars retired mechanically and 4 drivers with a 0 on their first run. So those drivers need to put down a score if they're going to hope to make it through to the top 32 in tomorrow's main competition. So if you're just joining us now, this is the layout we're using here at Okuibuki. A very scary uphill entry towards a granite block wall over a bridge. Over a bridge that's suspended over a very fast-flowing river. And then around a hairpin layout in front of the judging stand, and then back down the hill. So very interesting, a very unique sort of course. I have seen there was a course in, I believe, in Europe, a European country, where they actually ran it over a bridge, over a river. I'm not sure, I think it was in Latvia or somewhere like that. Not Romania. Where was that? Have you ever seen that?
I have not, no.
Yeah, there was, I forget what it was, but it was a certain series. They ran an event fairly close to the middle of town, and part of the track was actually over a bridge, which is kind of cool.
Very cool.
All right, second run now for these drivers. Tomonori Tasaka, S15 Sylvia, SR20 powered. Score of 61 in his first run. He needs to improve on that. You see they're a bit wobbly. Whoa, whoa! All the way to the edge of the wall there, but they're coming off it very early. Yeah, very shallow line there, shallow angle. I'm not really sure if it's going to be a big improvement over 61.
Yeah, he's got the 61, and that may or may not be enough, so he certainly wants to improve here. And I got to say, A for effort, no doubt about it, but just really not ticking all the boxes here. You can see kind of slow rolls into that initiation, fills it, but then kind of chops up the course here. He has that real snappy transition back, but it's not really designed to get him to do what he wants him, what the judges want him to do, which is fill that zone completely. So you can see just a few mistakes bumbling up here, and he finishes up. We'll see if that betters the 61, but he is now done for the day. And there you go.
66 for Tomonori Tasaka. A brand new build. I think it debuted at Ebisu Circuit. Literally fresh out of the paint room. So still dialing this car in. Score there 66, so a slight improvement over his first run. But probably going to need a much higher score than that to make it into the top 32. We've seen a lot of 70s coming out here today. Right, second run now, Yuta Nozawa. JZX 100, really wide. The camera almost not able to get the entire car in shot. All the way out to the edge of the track. Just getting the back of the car over that outer zone. It looks like he's actually carrying.
Yes, he's stealing.
He's being a bit cheeky there, and he's pocketed one of the pylons.
Well, Alexi's going to have to settle for a 73 because that was an incomplete run. Just not able to finish up the second half of the run. And he will head back down to the hot pits and then eventually into the pits, hoping that a 73 will hold.
So that run was stopped because he was carrying the pylon with him, or because there was debris on the track from that where he hit the pylon?
No, I don't think we would have stopped him, or they would have stopped him. I think he maybe stopped voluntarily, unless somebody came out and waved him down. I didn't see. Let's see if we can dig into this.
I think he was actually he was flagged. He was flagged to stop. Just getting confirmation of that, because he was carrying that that pylon with him, which is a safety issue. So we're just seeing what's going to happen. Let's watch the replay here. So Hinome, oh no, this is that's not the replay. This is the replay. There we go. So this is Nozawa. You can see they're tagging that pylon, and it magic trick makes it disappear.
I can tell you what happened here. You see that yellow flag in the right-hand side?
Yep.
That was one of our guys getting a little overly aggressive, and he should not have flagged him.
Right.
And so that's why he shut down, because he saw the yellow flag. So he actually did the right thing, but the flag guy kind of more or less did the wrong thing there. So I think the right thing to do here is you got to run him again. He'll get a second chance at it, but he was doing what he should have done and stopping with a yellow flag out on course. So going to have to go down to the flag guy and be like, hey, Don't do that.
Well, I mean, you know, better to err on the side of caution. Of course, that is a bit of an inconvenience there for Nozawa. He's going to run again?
He is going to run again, yeah.
Okay, so we will be sending out Nozawa again to get him his second run.
Stealing our cone is not grounds for a yellow flag.
It's a bit cheeky, but you shouldn't really be getting a flag for it.
Yeah.
So to be fair, in regular sort of motorsport, when you do have an issue like that, it is common to flag down the flag for a marshal to flag down a driver. But drifting's a little bit different in the case that you don't normally stop, especially in a solo run. So here comes, okay, so Nozawa is coming back. So we will be running Nozawa again. He was, as you saw, he was forced to stop that run, his qualifying run, his second qualifying run, in order to clear that pylon that he picked up. Oh, hello, a bug just landed on my sheet. So many bugs around here.
Yeah, we got attack of the bugs.
How you doing, mate? Little bug, you want to go away? Here you go. Bye. He just flew away. Bugs. You got to be careful of. There's it's like a horsefly. It's called a buyo in Japanese. I don't know what the English name for it is, but they give you really. Remember at ABC Circuit, a lot of people getting bitten, and they're getting these big red welts on their legs.
Oh, really?
That's that.
Oh,
yeah. Even the even the promo girls were getting. One of them. Ayaka she got like bitten 3 times on her legs.
Yikes!
She had these big red welts on her legs. Yeah. Obviously, you know, not exactly wearing a lot of clothing. Those the Formula Drift girls. So that was a bit of an annoying thing. We had a couple of our staff members had a lot of bites on them. Of course, not as bad as Australia. But you do have the occasional irritating bugs here. One good thing is ticks and leeches aren't too much of an issue, which is nice when you're going hiking up in the mountains. But of course, you do have bears, so that's a bit of a problem too.
Oh, you mean here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some kumas here, yeah, for sure.
That's why usually when you see hikers walking around, they all wear bells to warn the bears. Our next driver now, Takashi Hinome. It's his second run now. Here we go. Here's the sort of entry we want to see. He's got to get the power down, drive it through the course. This is looking nice and clean so far. A little bit wider. There you go. Get the power down, flick it hard, down the hill. In a clip there and down the hill. Great second run for Takashi Hinome, S15 Sylvia. Yeah, first run of 76, maybe an improvement.
Yeah, I think so. That seems like at first pass it would be an improvement on the 76. Already a strong score there. You can see he goes from edge of the course to edge of the course, fills that first outer zone after a nice, snappy, aggressive initiation, wraps around that first inside clip, just maybe could have gotten into that second outer zone a bit earlier, draws a nice line, stays fluid as he comes down the hill here. A little bit of adjustment with the front wheels, but overall, I think that is going to be at least a slight improvement on run number 1, if not a moderate improvement.
Yeah, so 76 in his first run. It should be a better score, I'm going to say.
I'm going to go ahead and do my prediction here.
Okay, I'm going to look. 81. 80. There you go. Not bad. Takashi Hinome, second score, 80. So nice improvement there over his 76. It's going to be his better run out of the 2. Right, so this is Yuta Nozawa, the guy we saw just before who got flagged for being a bit of a cheeky tea leaf and stealing the pylon from outer zone 1. So this is his second qualifying run. Nice early entry there. This time a long way off the outer zone. flip this time. So nice. Here we go. Out of zone 2. Filling it nice and cleanly on the power here. Flicks it over the bridge. And really wide there. Sort of, that's not a great run there for him. That's going to make the judge's job a bit harder. The entire run doing really well, but just that last part of the course, that's going to knock off a lot of points.
Yeah, and what we got to look at here is did he unwind it before the finish line? I think that's going to be the big factor. As he starts off with a nice initiation, he does not fill that first outer zone. Very conservative approach here. Better job on that second outer zone, though. He could have been deeper. Tries to draw a wide line. See that he's headed toward the wall. Has to make an adjustment here, and then watch this. He's going to unwind it right there. I think he's very, very close.
So Nozawa returning to the pits there after his second qualifying run, his second counted qualifying run. So we're getting a score from the judges. So they have a bit to think about after that run, especially after that last bit. Because we should probably point out, so you can see the track there, the 3, 2, 1 cones are fairly easily visible through that gap in the fence, but the finish line's a bit harder to see.
Yeah, you can. We can see it pretty well. I don't know that the fans can. You see that yellow paint stripe?
Oh, that makes sense.
On the back side of the wall.
Okay, so if you're looking at the screen right now, basically dead center of the screen. So you've got that thick reinforced retaining wall going over the river just to the right of the bridge. So that wall there, where it thins out to just regular K-rail, follow that down a bit. There's a yellow stripe on there. On the opposite side of the track is a Formula Drift Japan banner.
Right. That's a good marker.
So just that's basic. So just before the opening in the wall there, where the cars enter and exit the pits, that's the finish line. So if cars straighten out before they go over that line, sort of an invisible line there, that could deduct points from them. And I think that may be what happened in Yuta Nozawa's case. You can see over there, those all the team-related people along the wall there. It's a nice, fairly short walk for them to get to the actual track itself, which is always nice. It's a nice compact layout here at Okuibuki. It's very quick and easy to get pretty much anywhere. Is that right?
Yep. That has been confirmed.
0 for Yuta Nozawa. It's going to be that straighten after the start, before the finish line, I should say. Ryan Lantain, was that because he straightened up before the finish line? He actually drifted the opposite direction. So it wasn't just a straighten up, it was actually an opposite drift too. So that's what did it for him. Wow, very unlucky there. Yuta Nozawa, a 0. Next driver now, Asuka Iwamoto, female driver. Here we go, this is much more aggressive. Oh, throwing it too hard. No. That is not going to be a good score for her. Asuka Iwamoto throwing it in really aggressively. That's what she needed to do, but getting off the accelerator, the car washing out. That's a half spin.
Yeah, you can't blame her for doing that. She needed a very big increase in her initial score. She had a 48 on her initial score. Now she's going to come in pretty aggressively here, push hard. Now angle in the car and not enough momentum to carry it through, not enough throttle control. We talked about maybe being underpowered in run number 1, so just trying to throw everything she could at it, but not able to pull it off at the end of the day, and she will have to sit on that 48.
And a 0. And so with Asuka Iwamoto's first score of a 48, that's pretty much a scratch for her for tomorrow. You never know how things are going to go. Of course, we did have, remember at ABC Circuit, Ryan Sage, the string of zeros we had in
Yes.
qualifying. That was amazing. Was that about eight or nine in a row?
Quite a few.
Yeah. We had about 8 or 9 zeros in a row. Hopefully that doesn't happen today. Hopefully we can break the chain with our next driver here, Yuji Saito. 63 on his first run. Oh! Is that going to be counted as a reinitiation? I'm not sure. Saito all the way to the edge of outer zone 2. His car, the setup on it looks a little bit odd. So you see, that's the finish line just there. I said it a little bit late, but so Saito, S15 Sylvia.
Well, another driver, Alexi, that wants to try to break into the 70s here. I like the initiation. Doesn't fill the zone. Now he's trying to figure out how to get back online here. He's kind of cutting up the course a little bit, doing what he can to keep it exciting. But just quite a few mistakes here, a bundle of mistakes, especially towards the beginning. And he's going to have to hope that the judges give him something better than a 63. I'm not sure that it will, but we will find out here momentarily.
And of course, in Formula Drift, style is a judged part of this. He didn't get a great score, so actually none of these scores were great. 18, 21, 20, so a 59 for Yuji Saito. He's going to have to sit on a 63 from his first qualifying run. All right, next driver, it is R32 Skyline, Go Kamiya. Nice early entry there, it's looking pretty good. Oh, and throws it too hard, spins out. That's going to be a 0 for Go Kamiya. That's also a shame. So he's going to have a 70 on his first run. This is sort of similar to what happened last year. A lot of the drivers are really going hard on the entry on their second runs and throwing it in as hard as they can because they know that that's where the points are there to be taken. Let's watch the entry here. Nice run, but throwing it a bit too hard. The rear of the car washing out, spinning out at him.
Well, you made the point, Alexi, that you never know what's going to happen with the second run. We had that string of incompletes in Ebisu, and these incompletes here are giving drivers an opportunity. They're kind of on that margin, a stronger chance to make it into tomorrow's event, especially since we've got at least 1-2 drivers that are certainly not going to make it because they bowed out before qualifying. Kazama and Yokoi, as well as Kasahara.
Yeah. So everyone going hard on their second runs so far here today, and paying off for only Hinome so far. So second run now for Tsukasa Nagata, S15 Sylvia. He needs a better score. He's only got a 54 in his first run. It's not looking good yet. The second half of the course needs to be a blinder, and he's a long way off that outer zone. His last chance here is to throw it down really hard here, get that inner clip, and accelerate hard. Very late on the accelerator going down the hill too. Nagata, first run of 54, second run probably not that much higher than that.
Yeah, if he does better than 54, it'll probably only be by a small margin, which would be better than what he has. But let's take a look at this here in some detail. You can see very slow approach here, not a snappy initiation, doesn't fill that first outer zone. Decent job on that first inside clip. The transition is not too bad, but he doesn't fill that second outer zone. And you can see he's having a hard time drawing that nice smooth line that the judges want to see from that third outer zone coming down the hill here. And not a lot of smoke coming off either, so you can see not very aggressive overall, but still looking to better that 54.
So second run there for Nagata. Once again, if you're just joining us, we are here. So score there 58, so only a very slight improvement over his first run. Will it be enough to make the top 32? Potentially, yes. We'll see what happens. So once again, if you're just joining us now, we are in the second runs of qualifying here at Formula Drift Japan, round 4 at Okuibuki Motor Park, a converted street course. Here comes the second run now. Yasuo Takano, JSX 100, fresh build this car. Still kind of dialing it in. Very shallow line there, unfortunately. Nice clip of the inner clip there. Completely missing that outer zone. Just barely getting his bumper over that. Hard on the accelerator. I get the feeling that his transmission and diff ratio is not quite matched this particular course. Maybe third gear a bit too low, second gear a bit too high.
Well, another driver that with a very low score, he had that 49. I think this is definitely going to be better than the 49, but he still has a little bit of work to do in preparation for tomorrow if he makes it into the top 32. That little section of the course right there just not going to cut it too tight. You can see he's got the basics down in terms of the transition from inside clip 1 to outer zone 2, but you'd like to see a little bit more dynamics, especially filling that second outer zone, and then here coming down the hill just a bit overextended there, and nearly unwinds it before the finish line. But I think he will better the 49. We've just got to see if it's going to be enough to get him into the top 32.
Yeah, something, Ryan, I think we should maybe point out to the people watching is the outer zone. It's very obvious on the, especially on the second outer zone on this part of the track. What counts as having the car in the zone? Is it having the wheel over the yellow line, or is it having part of the bodywork over the yellow line?
It's the for this particular course, it's the furthest part of the vehicle back. So it would be for most everybody the back bumper.
Okay, so on this particular course, so 53 there for Takano. Slight improvement over his 49. At least it gets him over the 50s. Hopefully we'll be able to see him tomorrow. So next driver now, Kojiro Mekua. Now, this particular car, very street style, simple kind of build. He held the highest qualifying score until he got into like the top 10. Great first run for him. Look at this aggression here. Mekua, beautiful out of zone, huge angle. Gets that clip, out of zone. All the way around. Look at this, a technician at work here in this S15 Silvia. Gets that in clip 2, drives it down the hill. Wow. Again, another great run for Mekua.
No problem for him for tomorrow's competition. Now it's about whether or not he's going to better that 81. And you can see here, he really has this course down. Nice snappy transition. He gets back on throttle at the right time. He fills that first outer zone. Bit tight there on that first inside clip, but the transition back around keeps the wheel spinning, utilizing the momentum of the vehicle to fill that second outer zone. Draws a pretty decent line here, puts some angle in the car, and then moves down the hill to that last and final inside clip. And showing that he has got the talent to drive here on this course.
Yeah.
And one of the top scores that we saw in run number 1, now trying to go north of 81 on run number 2.
I'm going to say it's definitely going to be more than 81. It's a great run. Hey! Equal to or greater. That's what I meant to say. 81 there, so a double 81. So, if nothing else, very consistent there, Kojiro Mekua. That bodes well for going into tandem competition. If you can get good, consistent, clean runs here, you're probably going to be able to do it with another driver as well. It means you have a good handle on the course. Next driver now, Kojiro Mekua. Sorry, this is Taichi Hisano. I'm sorry. S15 Silvia. Very, very squeaky brakes there on that particular car. Brings it around, in clip, a lot of angle. Throwing it a bit too hard, get on the accelerator. Oh, that was a bit of a straighten there. When that sort of thing happens, what you really want to do is watch the front wheels of the car and see if they actually get positive steering angle rather than opposite lock.
Yeah, this is definitely right on the line here. I mean, it pretty much should be an incomplete either way because it's going to be such a low score.
Yeah.
You're going to see. I think you're going to see the front wheels reset here. Let's take a look at this. He's got a lot of angle in the car here, and I think right here they're going to reset right there.
Yeah. So Formula Drift, very strict on that sort of thing. Got to keep the car at angle at all times. And a 0 for Taichi Hisano. So unfortunately for Hisano, yeah, Formula Drift, very strict in that sort of thing. Reinitiations.
Opposite drift.
Opposite drift. Well, I mean, obviously, yeah.
Hood, hatch, trunk, doors.
That's it. That's another thing too. Yeah, any part of the, what is it? Latchables.
Latchables.
Sounds like some sort of. Sounds like something they sell on like late night TV. Get your latchables today. Next driver, Jamaken. Very street style driver, this guy. Very street looking car. Losing his bumper. This is some old school style drifting you're seeing right here. Whoa, watch your bumper. That lovely candy paint job getting all scraped up. Hanging on for dear life. Yeah, big clutch kick coming down the hill there for Jamaken.
The bumper just did not want to give up. It wanted to hang on there.
It was like that girlfriend you just can't get rid of. It
Yeah,
held on the entire way down.
Clinging on the entire time.
Let's watch the replay here.
He's like, all right, girlfriend, it's time for you to go. And she's like,
No.
please don't leave me. I don't care how much you turn around and tell me, I'm still going to stay with you.
Wow, look at that.
Even when you fill the second outer zone, I will be with you.
Those are some strong zip ties. I'm going to go find out what brand zip ties he used, because they held them pretty well. Jokes aside, that was a great run there for Kenji Yamada, nicknamed Jamaken. A local, he's a fairly famous driver in Western Japan. 81, so cracking into the 80s. Good score there for Jamaken. Hope to see him tomorrow in the tandem competition. And he should get in with a score like that. Yeah, so it doesn't really enter many big competitions here in Japan, but if you live in Western Japan and you're involved in drifting, you probably know who he is. He's been around for a long time. All right, next driver now. Another very stylish looking car, Akihiko Hiroshima. Nice entry there, good, filling that outer zone, it's looking good so far. Bit wide there, flick it back, he's going to get it, he needs to get into these zones if he's going to get a good score. It's a good, clean, fast run, but just not ticking those boxes, putting the car where it needs to be. It's like he's just sort of doing a freestyle run.
Well, he's got that 66. If I was him, I'd like to see myself getting into at least the low 70s there, give myself a strong chance to be mid-pack or better in the top 32. Like you said, he rolls into this initiation very slowly, wasn't great rate to angle, misses that first inside clip. The transition back around is not too bad, but he's pretty much on the inside line here, just gets that back bumper into the final section of that outer zone. Has a little bit of a hiccup there through that third outer zone, and then down the hill here through the finish line, he stays nice on that final turn there, but will it better a 66? It now goes to the judges as we find ourselves almost halfway through the second run.
There you go. So score there, 70 for Hiroshima. So an improvement over his first run, 66. It's a little bit cleaner. A lot of room for improvement, though, when it comes to the line and clipping points and zones. You need to go to the zone. It's like a, sorry, it's a
Russian thing?
Yeah,
in Russia.
Oh no, it's like a like the it's a video game thing. Never mind. Junior Ishikawa, second run now once again. Another rear bumper hanging on for dear life, but never mind that. Well, there it goes. He got rid of it. Outer zone, filling that outer zone nicely. This is definitely going to be an improvement over his first score at 63. Nice angle coming down the hill. Ishikawa, not bad.
Yeah, Ishikawa, he doesn't rely on the strong zip ties. He just breaks his bumper. That's the way he deals with his girlfriend. Nice start here, good initiation, deep into that zone. Here's where the bumper comes loose here. Now he's going to come into this first inside clip. He's on that second hash mark. Nice snappy transition back around. Leaves the bumper right there in that second outer zone. Again, another driver not feeling that zone completely. And he goes a little bit wide there as well, and he has to make an adjustment on his line. And then a lot of angle coming down the hill, which results in just missing that first inside clip by a little bit. So he does have that at 63. Oh, there goes your pen.
Did I lose my pen?
It flew off into the wilderness.
Did it? wow, okay.
Not even down below, like it's down on the hill.
Really?
Yeah, like the wind just went, woo!
Okay.
Bye.
Score there of 70. I'll have to get a pen. I got a paper. Give me something to write on. What is it? Oh, I don't have my pen. Sorry, that's the... Kantoku-san, ちょっとペンもらっていいですか? ペンなくなった. I gotta get a pen. Yeah, what I was just talking about there is there's a famous video game called Stalker, where there's like a zone. It's like set in Russia, obviously. It was based on a science fiction novel called short story called Roadside Picnic.
Get in the zone.
The zone. All right, here we go. Second run now for Fukada. Nice and wide for him. Here we go. Just missing the outer zone. This is looking fairly messy for Fukada. Last chance. He's got to flick it hard down the hill. Get that clip. So 64 on his first run.
Well, Fukada, yet another driver that just struggles with that second outer zone to third outer zone. Most drivers are filling the second half of it if they're filling it at all. Fukada is kind of the same thing, but he pushed a little bit too hard as well, and then he had to draw kind of a really unorthodox line to that third outer zone. Let's take a look here. Bit wide on that first inside clip. Good transition here. Gets back on the throttle, and then right here pushes a little bit too far. Then he has to kind of straight line approach it to that third outer zone. Now coming down the hill here, and gets on that second hash mark through the finish line. So you can see the parts of the course that most drivers don't really have a problem with. That first inside clip, a majority of drivers can do that. Going downhill, the majority of drivers can do that. It's really the initiation, outer zone 2, that seem to be giving people the most trouble right now.
That's so good. Finally, a good score there for Fukada. A 73 improvement over his first score, 64. Yeah, this particular course, it seems to suit the guys who are able to get the car to angle and extend that angle sort of in a straight line on the first corner, on the entry, and also on the second outer zone. It's quite straight for quite a long time along the wall. So the guys who can sort of flick the car to angle and hold it at that angle for a long time are the ones who are getting good scores in those zones. All right, next driver now. Now a 0 in his first run. Morozumi spun out. He needs to get a score if he's going to make it through. So a fair way off the outer zone. Nowhere near it there, just barely getting into it in the final part. Whoa! Did you hear that? Yeah. That was taking the. That was the original anti-lag. Where you keep your car on boost instead of having the anti-lag system where your car pops and bangs to keep on boost. You just put the clutch and hold the accelerator flat.
There you go.
Wow.
Well, last time he understeered into the wall and nearly damaged the vehicle. This time he's going to come out with the full pull, but you can see here Alexi struggling a little bit to fill those zones and draw a smooth line around the course, which the judges want to see here. I don't know that it's going to be enough to get him into the top 32, but he's got a fighting chance here. He did have that 0 on run number 1, so he's only looking upwards here on run number 2.
That's right, yeah. He didn't spin on his first run. He understeered towards the wall. So that run looking a little bit better. Oh, a lot better. I mean, the car itself looking a bit better than in his first run. 59. Ugh, this may be the end of the weekend for Takahito Morozumi. 59 is probably not going to be top 32 material. Yeah, he was on that limiter for a long time there, pulling the handbrake to avoid hitting that inside clip, which he still did anyway, coming down the hill. So another driver now who had a 0 on her first run, Masayo Minowa.
We have 36 scores right now.
36
scores, so we have enough for a top 32 right now if we need.
We do.
Yeah.
Right, so
now it's just going to be about moving the pieces around.
So basically anyone who gets a low score if they don't improve on their first run from now on, it means they don't make it through, right? Potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
Right.
It's not looking good, but there are 36 scoreable runs right now.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Right. All right, so Masayu Minowa, a 0 in her first run. Looking much better, much better. Here we go. Bit too wide there. Get it out towards the outer zone. Once again, her line way off what it needs to be. But it's not a 0, it's not a spin. And plants it down the hill over the finish line.
Well, this will definitely go into the scorecard here. Don't know if it's going to be enough now that we've got enough scores to move into a full field for tomorrow. But let's take a look here. You can see tentative initiation there. Very, very shallow on that first outer zone. The line she drew there was just a bit wide on that first inside clip. And then you can see she had to tighten it up there. Really had nowhere to go. But holding it together is going to get a score here. She's got to hope for it to be in the low to mid 60s for a fighting chance. You've got a few 59s, a couple of 48, and a few 60s. So we'll see.
Oh, 53. Yeah, the line. Look at that. A 9 for the line. 53. So that might be the end of the weekend for Masayu Minowa. Yeah, very. If you ever talk to her about, if you ever tell her, give her any sort of compliment, she's always like, "Oh no." Like, even when she does really well. On the other hand, though, when she does do well, she's literally the happiest person you've ever seen.
Ah,
yeah.
So she has her tells.
Oh yeah. If she couldn't play poker, that's for sure. But, good to see her out here. Of course, Masayo, the wife of Shinji Minowa, who's out here this weekend as well in the Team Boss Z34. And also their son, learning to drift. And one big drifting family. Shinji does have his own workshop as well, Hey Man. So, drift family goals right there. All right, next. Australia. Hashtag Australia. So that's Australia in Australian for anyone out there watching. Because I'm from Australia. Chris DeJager from South Australia. Chris, actually his day job, a driving instructor, which includes regular sorts of defensive driving courses. But on top of that, the school he teaches at also offers anti-terrorist driving courses. So basically offensive driving courses. Very good. Yeah. Second run now, Chris DeJager. Had a great score in his first run, an 80. So this is his chance to just go ham and get a big score to put himself as high up as he can on the board. He drove very cleanly, consistently in his first run, and this second run, yeah, nowhere near as clean as his first run. This one much looser, much more aggressive. This is Chris all over. This is Chris DeJager's technique. Let's watch the replay.
Well, this time around, you can see Chris really trying to up that score of an 80. Much more aggressive approach here. Just miscalculates a tiny bit on that first inside, or that first outer zone. That last little section there was actually a ricochet, so he should get full credit for that. Great job on that second outer zone. Could have filled it a little bit deeper, but one of the few guys that's actually starting to enter at the beginning there. So Chris, aggressive run on that run number 2, trying to up that 80, and we'll see if it was enough to impress the judges. But a couple little mistakes here that may cost him a few points.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be an improvement over an 80. His first run was sniper accurate when it came to all the clipping points and zones. Yeah, so when I say anti-terrorism driving, basically like VIP protective driving, for example, like pit maneuvers and stuff like that. But when I talk to him about that, how do you spin a car out in front of you? We talked about it for a bit, but what he said that was interesting was when you spin a car out, 82. So yes, an improvement for Chris DeJager. So great second score for Chris, setting himself up nicely for tomorrow's competition. What he said was when you spin a car out that's in front of you, for example, like someone's trying to shoot at you or something like that, you spin them out when you can, for example, into a pole or into a tree or into a building or into a parked car. You don't just spin them out to spin them out. You spin them out to injure them or, kill them.
Disable them.
Yes, it was quite an interesting conversation, that one. And I was about to go out driving with him at Ebisu right after that conversation. Next run now, Semi Tanaka. Whoa, center punching that clipping point there. Filling the outer zones, looking all right so far for Semi Tanaka. Much more aggressive run. Look at the angle there and the speed he's able to hold with that angle. Semi Tanaka, very aggressive driver all the time. He's always at 100%.
Yeah, the angle here from outer zone number 1 does cost him a little bit here. You can see aggressive, lots of angle coming up the hill, and then it forces his line to narrow, and then he sees, I'm on the inside of that first inside clip, has to make an adjustment, so he'll get some line and angle deduction points there. He has that 78. Don't think that this is going to better it. That was a pretty sizable line and angle mistake there. Yeah. But nonetheless, I think 78 is enough to get him at least mid-pack in tomorrow's competition.
Yeah, so Semi Tanaka, 78 in his first run. Maybe an improvement on that. Just very fast, too. Able to put the power down and pull away very quickly in that S15 Sylvia. Comes the replay again. Semi Tanaka, look at that, a lot of speed and aggression on that entry. Throwing a little bit too hard there, yeah, and just screwing his line up a bit and also messing up his entry into the outer zone 2. So look at the motion of that car. It's just like, looks like Bruce Lee punching. Exciting driver, Semi Tanaka. Scored at 71, sorry, so not as good as his first run. A 78. So just looking at the scores, it seems that most of our drivers so far are getting better scores on their second runs. All right, next driver now, Wataru Masuyama. S15 Sylvia, a big tail rack wing on that. Just falling a little bit short. Great angle on the entry though. In clip, perfect. Out of zone, perfect. Let's keep it going. Second out of zone, great. Third out of zone, great. In clip, big angle, big smoke, big acceleration. Nice run there for Wataru Masuyama in that teal-colored S15.
So 2 solid runs for Masuyama. Just messes up this first outer zone, though. You can see he gets into it for a second, then pulls out of it. He had that nice flick, big angle, hits that first inside clip, snappy transition, fills the first half and second half of that second outer zone on throttle. Draws a good line from outer zone 3. You can see a little bit of wobbling in the front tires there, but that's just coming downhill off camber with the way his vehicle is set up. I don't know that it's going to match the 85 because of outer zone number 1, but it should do really well here and give him confidence that he can go out there and lay down 2 solid lead runs.
Still a great run there for Wataru Masuyama. 82, so not an improvement over his first run at 85, but still solid score. 2 solid scores from him. A lot of consistency. Yeah, Wataru Masuyama. Also a very young guy.
Not the prettiest.
That run?
Huh?
No,
it was his initiation.
Yeah, it could have been better. So they're 82. All right, we are halfway through the second runs here at Okuibuki for Formula Drift. We're going to take a very quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere, or just go somewhere. Well, actually watch the commercials. That's better for us. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Lovely blue skies and just a few little wispy clouds in the background. Beautiful mountains. It's like a Bob Ross painting. And drift cars here at Formula Drift Japan, round 4 at Okuibuki Motor Park. We are 3/4 of the way through qualifying here for tomorrow's round 4. We've run all the guys once, and we are halfway through the second runs. So from now on, we're going into the top half of the field, because qualifying is run in a reverse grid format where our number 1 qualifiers get to go last. So if you're just joining us now, you're about to see the best drifting of the day. There's our next driver now, Tetsuya Iha, only a 51 on his first run. The big crown, huge car, this one. Yeah, Iha sort of looks like he's struggling a little bit to handle this car around the track. Very sort of on and off the accelerator, waiting a long time to sort of settle the car in before he accelerates.
Well, he had that bit of trouble on run number 1, as you mentioned, Alexi, and run number 2, I think a little bit better, but still some work to do if he makes it into the competition tomorrow. You can see the initiation that leads to that hiccup right there before that first inside clip, driving very shallow into that second outer zone, getting into that outer zone, but then just not a lot of fluidity here. Now the last section of the course, better there, finishes it up. But he does have that 51. We want to see him break into at least the mid-60s, ideally, if not the low 60s, for a fighting shot here.
He's not going to get a great style score, I'm going to guess. Tetsuya Iha, you can see them pulling into the pits. Actually, there you go, 67. So the style was fairly low, but the rest of it wasn't too bad. Excellent result there for Iha, improving on his 51, 67. So if only he could make that run a bit more flashy, it would have been a better result. All right, next driver now, James Tang from Singapore. BMW 120i, but with a Toyota 2JZ in it. Here comes his entry. All right, fills the outer zone quite nicely. Spins out! No, James Tang losing it. That's a fairly similar run spin to what we've seen quite a few people do. They kind of get off the accelerator, and the rear of the car just rotates around on them unexpectedly. Yeah,
that was a really weird incomplete, and he approaches that initiation very tentatively. You can see the car kind of shaking a little bit, and just didn't seem to be fully committed there, and it results in this incomplete. Now, James does have that 64, but I have to, just looking at the numbers here, just doing some very rough math, 64, if it's not at the cutoff, it's going to be a bit below it. So he's hoping that 64 will hold and he will make it into tomorrow's competition. But unfortunately for him, run number 2, not an improvement.
So I said Singapore, didn't I? James Tang is from Hong Kong. So Hong Kong rep, I really apologize for that. Hong Kong represent. James Tang here in the very cool looking, that is such a great color scheme on that car, the 120Y. Fortunately, there's 0 for James Tang. He's only going to have a 61 to go on. That's right, Nian is from Singapore. I got it mixed up. Our international drivers here this weekend. We're going to be seeing Sheng Nian very shortly, looking forward to that. Next driver now, Kanta Yanaguida. Top Tool Racing, it's a tool company, believe it or not. Very tight line there. Nice. There we go. There you go. Out of zone 2, great run there. Now watch him throw it down the hill here. More angle, come on, there you go. Nice. Out of zone 2, Ryan Sage. Let's watch the replay.
Yeah, a good run here by Yanaguida. A 78 on run number 1. Let's see if this betters it. Good initiation, holds it. He slows down a little bit, but gets back on the throttle. So great job there overall. And then right there, deep into that second outer zone, he goes a little bit too deep, so he'll get a slight little deduction there. And could have drawn a little bit of a wider line from 2 to 3, but we're just nitpicking here now at this point. Overall, it's a solid run for him. He's got a lot to keep his head up high about on that run number 2. I think he's going to be close to bettering that 78, if not doing it pretty easily. So let's see how that goes for Yanaguida.
I would bet on him getting higher than a 78.
Going to go ahead.
That run.
Yep.
86. Yes. Great run there for Kanta Yanaguida. Young guy, straight out of high school. And this car, not an insano, huge custom knuckle back entry twin turbo V8 build. Very simple build. Getting it done here at Okuibuki. Good to see. All right, next driver now. Coming off a score of 76, Kazuto Ichiyanagi, the 1-via. All the way to the edge of the track. 1. Almost got 2. In clip, nice. Watch him flick it back here. The back of that car over the outer zone. It's a good job. Similar to the run we just saw. Huge angle going down the hill. Straightens up a little bit, but that was past the finish line. No problem there whatsoever. Almost similar sort of run to what we saw from Yanaguida.
Yeah, Yanaguida with that 78 in his first run, 76 for Ichiyanagi. Maybe just a little bit too aggressive here on his line. He pushed a little bit wide there, but you like to see the over-aggressiveness as opposed to being a bit too conservative. He doesn't fill that second outer zone in the way that Yanaguida did, so you can definitely see some points getting deducted there. Will it better the 76? I would imagine that it would be very close to bettering the 76, but I don't think it's going to be up as high as Yanaguida's.
Yeah, it might not be an 86, but I'm going to say it's going to be an improvement over his 76. So let's say, well, Yanaguida got 78 and then 86, and then Ichiyanagi got 76, so I'm going to say 84. Oh, that was way off. 77. So a slight improvement. I was just throwing that out there. 77 for Ichiyanagi. Slight improvement over his first run. A 1-point improvement to be precise. So hopefully we'll see him tomorrow in the top 32. All right, next driver now. Hayato Miyoshi there. ER34 Skyline. Nice looking car with the Uras body kit on it there. Up through the gears, flicks it in, wide. Takes out both of the zone markers. Almost a bit of an understeer there, slowing down. He's on a mission. Can he get this marker too? There you go. No, he just misses it. Nice fast run there, little stab of the brakes to bring the back of the car around. Early on the accelerator. A bit here and there, this run here from Miyoshi. Let's watch the replay.
So run number 2 here from Miyoshi, a 73 on run number 1. Again, one of the drivers falling victim here to a bit too much aggression there. Just the back bumper reaching over a little bit too far, hitting some of those outer zone markers, and then right there nearly getting caught up in the tire is that marker from inside clip number 1.
Yeah.
Decent job here. As you can see, comes down the hill. I think this will better the 73 and give him some confidence going into tomorrow's event.
I like that little sort of hop the car did as he ran over the inner clip. I thought it looked cute. So, boing, as he jumped over it. He didn't get the final marker though. I was sort of looking for. Needed to get a clean sweep. 78. So once again, another improvement over the 73 on his first run. Miyoshi in the Skyline R34. Playing a little game of hit the cones there. Right, now this is one driver who really needs to improve his score. A 60 on his first run. Saito just making a lot of mistakes throughout the entire run. All right, here we go. 180 SX of Saito. Just on the edge of that outer zone there. Watch the flick back here. Once again, nowhere near that outer zone. If he has a spotter, that he needs to get fired because that wasn't a whole lot different from his first run.
Yeah, not a very impactful run. The transitions were very weak. Didn't really fill too many zones, and he's right on that threshold here. He's got that 60, and this is an opportunity for him to get up into the mid to high 60s. You can see a very, very weak initiation. Doesn't fill that first outer zone. Hits that first inside clip, but pretty much everybody's doing that. And here, that second outer zone completely left unfilled. Has to pull some angle out of the vehicle there on outer zone 3. Yeah. And then coming back down the hill here, you can see just overall not a lot of impact in the run. And his final chance of the weekend is now over, and we'll have to see how he fares with the judges here on run number 2.
So first score 60 there, second run, we'll see what the judges have to say about that for Saito. 56, and not even as good as his first run. Wow. They were really rough on him there. 56. Saito. So 2 fairly close scores there. Might mean he has something to work on for next year. Steep entries and tight technical tracks might be his weak point. Next driver now, we have Imamaida in his S14. Got a 71 in his first run. Nice, okay, clean so far, a lot of speed. Holding his speed really well. This is good, big angle into outer zone 2. Power down, off the power, on the power. Very, very short gap off the power there. Aggressive, clean run from Imamaida. That wasn't too bad.
And he does have a 63, so some room for him to progress here, and you can tell by the way that he was driving, he was definitely wanting to push a bit harder here. Here's the initiation. Does not get all the way into that zone, but very aggressive. Nice flick back around. Fills the second half of that outer zone. Now coming back down the hill here. Hits that third outer zone. And then the final run. Is that wrong? Am I wrong?
I don't know. That's why am I wrong?
What do you have?
I got a 71.
Oh, okay, maybe I got ripped.
Okay.
Okay, 71, and he's fine. There you
so
go.
Imamaida, 74. So regardless of what his first score was, an improvement over both of the scores we had. It wasn't 71, was it? Yeah, so an improvement. Imamaida there. Nice run overall. That's going to be the sort of run that's going to be exciting to watch in a battle. Just nice and fast and clean. All right, next run we have Junji Yamamoto, one of only 2 RX-7s here today. Up through the gears, here comes entry. Nice, right to the edge of the track in that outer zone. Flick it back. Nice flick there, but way off the outer zone. That is not going to be a good score for that part of the run. And missing that inner clip as well. Yamamoto having a lot of trouble with a couple of parts of that track there.
Yeah, and he started off pretty strong. I thought it was a good start for him. I remember from last run he really was tentative on his initiation, but here, not very tentative at all, and gets really deep into that zone for pretty much the majority of it. But here he starts to have some problems. After this first inside clip, he transitions too quickly, and he's on a much tighter line. Does not fill that second outer zone. Then you can see he has to basically almost pull all the angle out of the car to keep the momentum wrapping through that final turn from that third outer zone. So 61, I think he's going to better that, and he needs to if he wants to make it into the top 32.
You know what Junji Yamamoto's car looks like? Remember Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift?
Yeah.
It's
one of those.
It's like the Fortune kit, except like it's like a dude who owned an RX-7. 67 there, so an improvement for Junji Yamamoto over his first run. It looks like someone who had an RX-7 but couldn't afford like the Fortune kit, which costs like tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
And they just painted their car up like, oh look, it's Fast and Furious.
There you go.
It's like a bootleg Han from Tokyo Drift.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
No, that's from the first movie. Tokyo Drift is you make decisions and you never look back.
Oh boy.
There you go.
Hey, kid.
All right, next driver now, Oshiro. 78 in his first run.
Oh, boy.
Whoa, all the way to the edge of the track.
Yeah.
Just missing the concrete wall. Woo, this is an aggressive run from Oshiro. Nice. Lacking a bit of angle there, though. On the accelerator, on the limiter going down the hill. So Oshiro's technique, like, it either works or it doesn't.
Well, you can see why he's so exciting to watch in head-to-head matchups because of just the really, I don't care, I'm going to throw it as hard as I can at this wall and see what happens. And right here, boom, big angle, holds it, fills the zone. He kind of like creeps into the zone, narrowly misses hitting the foam blocks.
Yeah.
Has to close up a little bit of the angle there on that first inside clip. Better job in that second outer zone, but a little bit too wide there. So he's a little bit messy, but it's a good kind of messy. You know, it's the spaghetti sauce all over your face kind of messy. It was really, really good. It was worth it.
Doesn't matter. Drifted. So let's see what score we have for Oshiro. Oshiro all the way from Okinawa, which is, I guess you could say the Hawaii of Japan compared to the mainland United States. It's a long way away from the mainland. Yeah, it's a bit of a different mindset. But you do get a lot of good drifters from down in Okinawa. So score there 78. So once again, it's double 78. So consistent, if nothing else. Yeah, because being an island, it's got that sort of island lifestyle. This is the story I've been told anyways. You know, young people down there, they've got a lot of free time. So they spend a lot of it hanging around and messing around with cars.
Yes.
And again, like Hawaii, they don't really have many places to do it, which is unfortunate. Okay, second run now. Yusuke Kusaba, otherwise known as Boki, as I always say. 1v. Look at how fast this entry is. There you go. This is looking really good so far. This is looking like a high scored run. Oh, he's missing that outer zone. He's got to get him in deeper. Baking the tyres, the contenders around there. His line, the second half of that course from the second outer zone onwards, not looking as good as the first half. But this entry here, nice fast run up to the start line.
Definitely improvement on the entry, no doubt. Remember the first one, he didn't really fill that zone as cleanly. That time he does.
He did.
First inside clip, no problem there. Again, another driver initiating a bit too early and then not filling that second outer zone. And you can see the line he draws is not the smoothest, but he gets back on the throttle, like you said, all the way through the finish line. So just a mistake on that second outer zone. Now he's got that 75. Is that better than 75? It just might. I'm going to get my prediction going right here.
84. Kusaba. Slightly lucky, I think, to get as high a score as he did. But overall, high speed throughout the entire track. It was just a good run to watch overall. So that last half of the track could have been better. But 84, not a bad score for him. It's pretty much going to guarantee him into the top 32 as he returns to the pits there. Boki in his 1v.
Come unplugged here. There we go.
You have? Did you kick it? We've lost Ryan Sage. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, we're back. And the second run now for Yoshinori Shinozaki. JZX 100. Here we go.
Nice.
There we perfect. Perfect zone one. Here we go. Just similar to what we just saw there from Boki. No, it was looking so good. Never mind that. Let's continue the run. Down the hill, on the power, down the hill. I think that's the best outer zone one we've seen all weekend.
Well, it's definitely, I think, going to improve his first score if we just look at it just purely on what he laid down here on that first outer zone. Smooth, consistent, filled it all the way. Nice and tight on that first inside clip. Another driver not committing to that second outer zone, though. So he kind of drives around it. He doesn't really snap it back around and really fill that second outer zone.
Yeah.
Second hash mark on that final inside clip. He had a 73 on run number one. I'm going to go ahead and make my prediction right now.
Okay. You know, I'm going to make a sort of a weird analogy here, but 77 there for Yoshinori Shinozaki, improving on his 73. What did you write down?
81.
81. That's fairly close. Oh, it's not that close. You know how, like, when you go to fill up, like at a soda machine, like where you fill up your drink, like you get the cup, you fill it up. And you fill it up so it's perfectly, like you fill it up and you let go of the little clicky thing, and it's perfectly full.
Right.
But then the bubbles come up and it overflows.
Okay.
That's what these guys are doing here. They're getting the first half of the track spot on, but when it gets to the second half, it just goes, and they don't get it right. You know what I mean? So it overflows, and then it goes back down again. And so it's.
See, I think.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's
I
weird.
get what you're saying, but here. All right, let's. Okay,
all right.
Good. We'll get back to that.
Second run now. Jin Harino, S15 Sylvia. 75 in his first run, all the way down to the track. Get on it. He needs to get on it to keep his speed up. A little bit messy here for Jin Harino, but he's going hard. He's hard on the accelerator. Working the grip of those Yokohama tires down the hill. That's a great shot of them going down the hill there, smoke pouring off the back of it. Let's watch the replay here.
So Jin Orino nearly going into the wall here as we take a look at the replay. Coming out of the chicane, blasting back up the hill here from one side of the course to the other. Nice job there on that first half, but then a little bit too aggressive there. Goes a little bit wide. Nice transition back around. You can see he's a bit more assertive there. Fills that second half of that second outer zone. Nice line through that final and third outer zone. And then through the finish line there, keeping the throttle in. I like your analogy. I think, what about this one?
Okay.
It's when you have the soda cup and you put it in and you're filling it up and you're like, oh, I got enough to the top. It comes to the top and then it actually goes down halfway.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I see what you're saying. 79.
So it's like they think they did enough, but they didn't go big enough.
That's it, yeah.
But you don't. But then see, where my analogy falls apart is that you already know that it's going to go down because anytime soda will only go up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can never get it perfect on one pour.
No,
you have to keep.
You have to get the click, click, click,
Yeah.
and do it like 3 times to get it to full. That's exactly right. And this is not like this isn't a restaurant where you can get like refills. You can't just sort of it'll be right. You need to get it full. Because you get that one chance.
That's right.
There you go. Soda analogies. Hashtag. Next run now. Tamagawa. He got a 0 in his first run. Fast entry. He's going all out. He's throwing it all in on this run. Tamagawa. A long way up that outer zone. Look how fast this car is. Accelerating down the hill. Okay, let's talk about line. It wasn't the greatest, was it, on this run?
Not the greatest, but it's going to be an improvement no matter what because he had that 0 on run number 1. And this run is extremely important to his chances making it into tomorrow's competition. Very aggressive here. Pretty good job, even though he went a little bit too deep in that first outside zone. Nice job on that first inside clip. But there again, not committing to that second outer zone, and it cost him a little bit because now he's on a tighter line here. He's got to find out a way to get through this final inside clip, and he kind of draws a weird line to the finish there. So obviously he's going to better the 0, but will it be enough to move on into the top 32? That's the question.
Well, will be an improvement on his first run, which was a 0. And a nice round 70 there for Tamagawa. Yeah, line, not that great there, but a lot of angle and good style. So just if anyone is not aware at home, Ryan, the scores there, what are they out of?
100?
No, I mean, split up.
Oh, 35, 35, 30.
There you go.
So
Being
line and angle, 35, 30 for style.
Style 30. So it's not 33.3 repeated for the people at home. All right, next run now. Coming up for 75. There's room for improvement here. Kazuya Izuka, 2JZ powered S15 Sylvia. Seems to be the combination to have here in Formula Drift Japan. Looking good here. The Helios Racing S15 Sylvia. He's sort of on and off the accelerator quite a lot. Maybe not going quite as fast as some of the other guys here, but keeping that run clean and consistent. That was actually a very consistent run.
Yeah, looking to better a 75 here. One of the few drivers that's really attempting to get full completion of that second outer zone. Nice start on that first outer zone. Great job on that first inside clip. See here, he gets into where the back end kind of disappears behind the wall for a second. Not a lot of guys doing that.
Yeah.
I think Mad Mike was the first to do it in an aggressive kind of way. But yeah, good consistency here. Not a huge amount of dynamics, but nonetheless, he's got that 75, so he's shooting for something higher than 75. He'll definitely make it in the top 32. It's just now, where is he going to fit in?
Yeah, it could be a bit higher than a 75, and there it is, a 77, so he'll be happy with that. Two fairly close runs, a 75 and 77. That's a good thing to be able to do. If your two qualifying runs are high and close together, it means you have a fairly good handle on how things are going. All right, next driver now. Mad Mike Wadette, 81 on his first run. It was a great run. Let's see how he does in this second one. Here he comes, quad rotor, twin turbo. 4 wheels and tyres. Nice entry here. Off accelerator for a long time, but never mind that, keeping his line and angle nice and clean. Once again, all the way to the edge, filling that outer zone perfectly. Another outer zone, watch him come down the hill here on the accelerator, drives it down the hill. Popping and banging his way into what hopefully is a higher score than an 81. It could potentially be higher than 81.
I think it will be. I don't really see a lot to criticize here. It's just very, very small points. You said he was off the throttle for a little bit. That's maybe the one thing that you could talk about in terms of setting himself up just absolutely perfectly. But look at this, how he fills that second outer zone. The car disappears all the way through there. He gets the back bumper all the way through that full zone. And then look at the arc that he draws from that second outer zone to the third outer zone. It's smooth, it's consistent, he's very, very smoky. He hits that last inside clip. For me, this is way better than the 81.
Yeah, I guess the problem with having a car that's as loud and distinctive as that is it's really obvious when you're not putting the power down. But he nailed that perfectly, that first corner. So regardless of that, 83 for Mad Mike Wadette, improving on his 81. It's going to put him in a very nice position. Not the highest score of the field, but still right up there. He'll be in a comfortable spot tomorrow in the top 32. Also good to see him out here for this weekend. He wasn't at the last round. Okay, next driver now, Taguchi. 84 in his first run. Aggressive! Too aggressive! Not even going to bother, just keep going. Back to the pits.
Well, an opportunity to better his 84 on run number 1, but not going to happen here today. He's already got a strong score of that 84. Let's take a look here what happens. Nice initiation, nice. Big angle, and you can see right there just too much. And not able to get back on the throttle and pipe out of that thing. So he'll have to settle for the 84, but that's a strong score.
Yeah, the trick of that uphill is, it's a big 0 there for Taguchi. Yeah, that's the trick of uphill is getting the weight shifting of your car right. Because on that part of the track, all the weight of your car is right up the front. And if you get on the accelerator too quickly, the rear, instead of gripping up and driving, it actually just spins out. All right, next driver now, Sheng Nian, JZX100. Fast entry, a little bit off, but it's not too bad. Right on the edge of the outer zone. Number 1, watch the flick back here. Nice, very technically feeding his car into the second outer zone. Hard on the accelerator, baking it down the hill. Sends that inner clip flying. Smoke pouring off the back of that JZX100. Not a bad run. His first run, Ryan, a 78. What do you think?
Well, it's going to be right there, I think, in the ballpark of that number. We just saw Mad Mike lay down an 83. I don't think it's as good as the 83, and we saw Taguchi spin out. So our reference there is the Mad Mike 83. You can see Sheng, again, one of the few drivers getting into that second outer zone early, but he does come off a bit early as well.
Yeah.
Good throttle here. Nice line being drawn down the hill. You can tell the difference between the 75s and the 85s is how they link that second and third outer zone coming down the hill. Very, very important. The judges know that everybody can hit that first inside clip. It's really about that initiation, the first outer zone, and linking the second and third outer zone down the hill. So let's see how Sheng does, and he will stick with that first score.
Yeah, 73. His first run, I think, was just a bit more insano and impressive to watch. So 73 in his second run. So his first run was the better score of the two. Okay, we are into the final 3 runs here for qualifying. Our top 3 point holders in the series. Koichi Yamashita, we see here in 3rd place. His first run, a 75. See if he can improve on that. Here he comes up the hill, initiating nice and early. Nice angle there. The rear of the car in the zone, no problem there. A little bit shallow. Missing that outer zone. So Yamashita, his line on the second half of the track, not that great. I like the way the smoke comes off the back of that car as he comes down here and kind of curls up.
Yeah, great smoke, great throttle control, some high points in this run, but lacking a little bit on the commitment here. You like to see him fill those zones a little bit better, especially this one here. Comes into initiation, throws it in nice and sideways, and then you can see that back bumper. It's just right at the beginning of the zone. He's got to get a bit deeper there. And then he comes up a little bit too tight on that first inside clip, transitions early, fills the second half of that second outer zone, draws kind of a little bit of a squiggly line from 2 to 3, and now coming down the hill. Better job on that final inside clip, but a very smoky run, lots of throttle, just a few things to improve on. He has that 75 on run number 1. I think he's going to be close to that on run number 2. Let's see where it goes.
Squiggly line, I like that one. That's a really accurate way of putting it. So you can see there, our camera there, having a bit of fun with its white balance. Koichi Yamashita, 76. So 1 point improvement on his first run. That's also a good result for him. Consistent qualifying runs that are nice and high. Sets him up for a good position in tomorrow's top 32. All right, we are into our final 2 runs here for qualifying for round 4. This is going to determine who will be where in the top 32 in tomorrow's competition. So this is going to be a bit of a stressful run here for Shinji Minoa. Currently 2nd in the series, but his first run, a 0, resulting as a result of a spin. His Z34 Fairlady, R35 GTR powered car. Shinji, here we go, filling the outer zone. It's off to a good start here for Shinji Minoa. It's off to a great start. It's off to a absolutely fantastic. It's not even a start now. This is an amazing run. On the limiter, down the hill, in a clip. Wow, if not one of the best, technically best good runs we've seen so far this weekend. That was a great run.
The pressure was on Minoa, and he came through in flying colors here. Let's take a look at each little section of this course. He starts off on the other side of the track, initiates. It's a slow roll initiation, but nonetheless, he fills that first outer zone. So he's going to leave a couple points on the table there, but I got to give him credit for playing it conservative, but with just enough aggressiveness. The line is what really makes the difference here. You can see he draws that really nice wide line from 2 to 3. He's got great angle in the car, and he keeps angle and just unwinds it slowly through the finish line. Great execution overall. He's certainly going to get into the top 32. Now it's just where is that score going to go?
So the gap in scores here. So from a 0 to an 81. He started at the bottom, now he's here. 81 for Shinji Minoa. That's going to be a massive relief for Shinji. On the cliff of not making it through. Of course, even if the top 32 is not filled, if you get a 00, you're not going to be making it through. So lucky there for Shinji Minoa. Looking forward to seeing him tomorrow. All right, here comes our final run of the day. Our current first points leader, Andrew Gray, JCX 100. chaser here. Here we go. Great run so far here today. A lot of angle. There you go. Fill that zone. Go on, Andy. Show him how it's done. Out of zone there. Through the smoke down the hill. Bakes it over the finish line. Nice. As you'd expect from someone who is a multiple Formula Drift champion.
Well, it's all pretty much procedural here. He's already got the #1 qualification. He's just looking to better that 89. This is basically just for bragging rights here. Will he be the first driver to break into the 90s? Nice job filling that first outer zone. Perfect on that inside clip. Watch how early he gets in here. Maybe he leaves a tiny bit early, but has a great second outer zone overall. Smooth, nice arc. Great angle in the car coming down the hill. And a tremendous run once again from Andrew Gray.
Woo, great run there from Andrew Gray, showing him how it's done here at Okuibuki. Yeah, that view was pretty much what we saw. It was just white, smoke wafting up from Andy's run. So will he break into the 90s there? Not as good as his first run, 89 to an 84. So it was a bit smoky here a second ago. So good run there from Andy Gray. Not cracking the 90s. So what are our high scores so far? Are we just about to cut? We can keep talking? Okay, good. So Andrew Gray, let's have a quick look. Ryan Sage at our score. Are we going to look at the scores? See who's got, we've got, let's see, 89 from Andrew Gray. We have, let's see, an 86 from Kanta Yanaguida. Who else do we have?
We've got an 85 as well from Masuyama.
Masuyama, yes, we've got an 85 from Masuyama in the S15 Sylvia.
We've got a couple of 80.
We've got Krista Jager with an 82.
We've got two 81s, and we've got Mad Mike with an 83. So you've got your top 5 or 6 guys there.
And yeah, we got and of course Mad Mike with an 83. All right, so there we are. Hello, we're back. So thank you so much for being with us here today for the qualifying for round 4 of Formula Drift Japan. On the watching us around the world on the live stream. Now we'll be back tomorrow. Just going to grab the schedule quick. Here's our schedule. So the time right now here in Japan, if you want to know, is about 20 past 3 in the afternoon, and our schedule looks as follows. All right, so you probably can't see it. Oh, they cut away.
All right, they brought you back.
Oh, okay, so this is tomorrow. Tomorrow, can you see that? There we go. We have the top 32 tournament. This is Japan. This is Japan time, by the way. 9 a.m. is the top 32. Sorry, are you there? There you go.
No, you're good.
Is the top 32 all the way through the top 32, right? And then we have a bit of a gap in the middle of the day, and the top 16 tournament will be running from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So we have these two. I'll make a little circle next to it so you can see. There you go. 9 a.m. Oh, we got a shot from the paddock now. So 9 a.m. Japan time, and also 2 p.m. Japan time is when we're going to be running the top 32 and the top 16 all the way through to the finals, respectively. So those sorts of times are, I guess, not too bad for the United States for the top 32. And guys in Europe should be able to get up in time to watch the top 16. But, you know, it's the weekend. Just, you know, get on your computer, chill out, and watch the top 16 and also the top 32 with us. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. So, once again, 9 a.m. Japan time for the top 32 and 2 p.m. Japan time for the top 16. You can see they're down there. We've got our drift bikes out on the track. We've got these very talented-looking guys out here today. Doing their supermoto stuff. So, once again, this has been Alexi Smith with Ryan Sage. We are your commentary team for this weekend. Hello. We'll be back tomorrow to call the top 32 competition and top 16 competition. Looking forward to seeing you then. Make sure you let your friends know on social media you'll be watching. It's just Formula Drift. The Formula Drift website. It's easy to find this live stream. It's just do a search for it. All right?
All right.
Join us tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow.